Here we go, streaming again.
Here we go, here we go, here we go.
Here I go again on my own.
I went to the doctor earlier after I did a little bit of an early stream.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I got done with the doctor, I came home and I'm like, all right. And I laid down and now I'm here. And I'm tired.
Hi, Eric.
Hello.
Eric the boy.
It me.
It's him.
Hi.
Can't believe Deco's dead.
A little bit. Not like amazingly, but a little bit.
Okay, how do I...
A lot of my brain
Sick
power.
again.
Let's just
A lot
call
of my
it
brain power is shifted
professional
amongst
pride.
several topics all at once. Like, how exactly do people mess up pancake batter?
I don't know.
And it's like, it haunts me to this day. Thinking that there are pancakes out there left uneaten because they're mediocre.
One of the burning questions.
All they want to do is die.
Send me a message.
All you gotta do is die.
All you gotta do is see you turn
Is die.
into a dead woman. A dead woman.
Whoa, man. Because I said, whoa, man, and you said, woman. It's...
Yeah. Bio. This one will just be blank. So hello people in the chat. So we're just hanging out today.
We're just hanging out.
I'm trying to make a Twitter for a thing.
He's trying to make it Twitter.
It's true. Skip for now.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're
It's
going to
not
put
working.
male presenting nipples on it and get it banned.
Okay, then I did this one.
You did this one.
Aaron.
It's Aaron. A quiet Aaron. Yeah,
Okay.
He
You
made
know-
noise. Good.
It's true, he did.
I was worried.
I am the alive.
That's good.
What did you
I'd have it no other way.
Well, I guess we're just stuck with this. I guess we're just stuck with Nat19's official Twitter handle being Nat1953261046.
You should be able to change that.
You can't. That's not my username. That's my @.
Yeah, you should be able to change your ad.
Where? How? Tell me. Tell me how.
Help.
Oh, I found it. I found it. I found it where? I found the
Got
where.
it? Okay.
All right.
We did it, boys. We got it.
Wahaba.
Well,
Oh, fucking did it.
well,
I'm so happy. I'm so happy I could change that.
Yeah.
hello,
that would-
people in chat.
That would be if it were stuck that way. That's like the maybe delete it and make a new one.
Yeah, that'd be ridiculous to do that. There's another Nat19 Twitter, incidentally, called Nat19. Ignore that one.
It doesn't actually exist.
No DCC, not today. Things got really busy, and I kind of didn't have a chance to set anything up because I was trying to get super ahead on work.
Which he did.
I did. I have my month scheduled out regarding what scenes I need to get done by what days, and today
And then
I
he ignored it. And then he ignored his schedule.
and worked ahead.
And worked ahead like a fucking madman.
It's true. I literally today my calendar reminded me like, hey, do sound design for scene 6 of Inuyasha tomorrow, and I was like, bitch, I'm on scene 8. Fuck you.
And also, you know, if we would have done DCC, we all know that I would have won.
You don't. All right.
It's not a
You know what?
competition,
Would've
I
won.
understand, but I would have won.
Okay.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
'Cause I'm the hero of Fall Stack.
Okay, so Google, I appreciate that you locked the Nat19 Twitter for no reason. Or not Google, Twitter. But I'm going to go ahead and ask that you undo that, if that's cool.
Hey, that'd be neato if you could do that.
572777. Okay, account is unlocked. That was actually a very easy process. You did it!
Nuts. I wanted to see the adventures of Borf and Borf the Great.
Let's give it my birthday so that it can do things legally.
Where's all this hentai coming from?
There.
What?
So it's like do things legally with his age. It's like on Twitter. Basically, that's just porn.
So friendos at home, yeah, I don't fucking... What can we do with today? What can we... I mean, we could work on D&D stuff, or we could just hang out. I mean, I'm sure that if we talk for long enough, the stream will naturally emerge into something else.
I'm sure if we talk enough, it'll naturally merge into D&D stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Whenever a group like this gathers,
Here's the deal. Let's go ahead and crush some dreams right away.
Let's do
Let's
it.
not turn let's not turn this chat into fake cast 0.02 or 0.2.
How could we?
and 19,
Because 0.1 was last week according to Dodge.
crushing dreams since
I think they mean that because I've been
Forever.
naming this. Last week I named it session 56.1, and this week is session 56.2. Alright, gonna change this because we immediately have a different,
I'm on to you, Dodge.
hashtag Nat19 official. Yeah. Done. Look at that. Look at that. Look what we got there. Got it.
Question for the DMs today. If a long rest gets interrupted after an hour, do you give the party a short rest?
Depends, I guess.
It depends.
generally
If they
speaking,
don't go back
I
to sleep,
probably would.
no. You don't give them a long rest.
Well, no, they
would
asked
need-
if you give them a
they
short
would need to
rest.
continue.
Well, yeah, no. If you give them a short instead of a long,
'Cause they
rest,
took
if
the
can
hour to
interrupt it
rest.
after an hour.
I would
Right.
say
That'd
I
be
would say I would
super.
probably offer them that chance. I would probably tell them like it was interrupted and you can't salvage this as a long rest. Do you want to keep trying to take a long rest, or do you want to have taken a short rest? Because that's fair. I mean, it depends on the situation, depends on the nature of how they were interrupted. It also depends on, did they get interrupted like at the peak of after an hour? So if they got like an hour of solid rest, then probably yeah. But if that hour was somehow interrupted by activity, then nah. I'm pretty lenient about short rests in general, though. I also tend to go down to be like, take them in half an hour. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, up until recently, we weren't following the one long rest per 24 hours rule.
Yeah, man. The Greater Restoration thing would have been an entirely different thing if that had happened.
Yeah, well, I mean, like in Curse of Strahd, that would have fucked you guys way more because it was like, oh no, resurrection sickness. Let's sleep for 2 days straight, but like all the time.
Imagine
Rules are
being the
only
one
so
mage
many.
who happens to show up in
Anarchy!
Switzerland. Imagine being that one mage who happens to show up in Switzerland hoping for some relaxation and chill vibes, and suddenly find out there's another Holy Grail war happening. Well, it's not another. There's never been a Holy Grail war, so there wouldn't be an another there. It'd be showing up in Switzerland and then being like, why are there heroes from history ripping apart the mountainside? What's happening?
Whatever, I'm working on my tan.
Trying to get my bronze on, man.
In Switzerland.
In Switzerland.
I guess technically nothing precludes fucking sunbathing in Switzerland. You just have to find a place where the trees aren't stopping you.
It's true.
See my profile. Nice. I need to get a proper thing made. My thought was specifically you get interrupted by a battle during the long rest. Could you short rest from the time you spent resting? If they got interrupted, like, after an hour, as they were being interrupted, if something attacked them, my instincts just answering this would be to be like, do you guys want to have treated that like a short rest? But it really depends on what's going on. I don't think I could give like a broad strokes answer. Because their long rests also do account for up to an hour of activity. But how strenuous that activity can be, though the book points out that it should be like, you know, just like walking around, reading and whatnot. In theory, depending on how easy a battle is, it may not be considered that strenuous. For example, I guess there's the issue of, like, if you get woken up by, like... Okay. If you guys are taking a long rest, and let's say, like, 5 skeletons attack you guys and wake you up, and then Lancer steps into the middle of them and one-shots the skeletons, I wouldn't be like, your long rest is ruined. But if you guys got attacked like a dragon and like took substantial damage and whatnot, I'd be like, yeah, you probably can't go back to assuming this is the same rest.
You gotta go take another whole 8 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can get pretty dirty. I mean, that's the entire purpose of random encounters with rests.
Just to interrupt them, yeah. Because it fucking... Without random encounters, people could just, like, sit down anywhere and be like, I take my rest. Random encounters really make players have to think about, like, what are you gonna do to, like, not die?
These things that could happen. Or, surprise, a bugbear ran in and punched you in the dick. Now what?
Spells like fucking the tiny hut in the mansion are amazing because of that. Oh yeah, you guys saw my message, right? About how I'm gonna be paying attention to spell costs regarding gold from now on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did see it.
In particular, and Izzy's not gonna like hearing this. Greater Restoration is gonna be
just 500 or some shit.
It's 1,000. I think it's like 100. It's like 100 gold, I believe. So it's $1,000 in game.
Oh, that's gonna suck.
Yeah, it's not a cheap amount.
I made fucking I decided that anything that you guys had done up till this point, I took out of the non-existent funds that you guys lost when your base was destroyed.
Oh, that's so bad.
Do. And the reason I'm paying attention to that is just because there are certain spells that are balanced that way, that have a larger cost. That way you can't just keep spell slotting them, like Greater Restoration, which actually is a really broken spell.
Greater Restoration, a lot of teleportation. Yeah, it also gives specific items you can start to have without actually having to, like, it's things you can seek out that then the DM could be like, yeah, someone pickpocketed the spell component for this one spell of yours. Get 'em.
What are the rules for D&D Magic Scrolls? In general, if you cast them, they have a chance to fail. I believe vanilla rules are that spell scrolls have to be something you can cast already, like it's on your spell casting
Actually, I just went over this recently. So if it's a spell scroll, because it turns I forgot that there's 2 kinds of spell scroll, or 2 kinds of scrolls.
Okay.
If it's a spell scroll, then it has to be on your spell list, or you can't read it. If it is something like a scroll of protection, which is not a spell, then anyone can use it. I was actually trying to go through the DMG and look for all the scrolls that weren't on spell lists.
Logan, have any normal people noticed that half the mountain is gone? This is the Leventina district. It's made out of mountain. Saber blowing up part of the mountain, well noticeable, probably just looked like a landslide, and not a lot of people cared. Like, if you guys, like, look up images online of the Leventina district, it is, like... It's some Lord of the Rings stuff. I'd like to go there one day, but I don't want to be there. I just want to see it.
Go Google it.
I have. That's not the same thing.
Well, there you go. You've seen it.
How do I nerf flanking? That way you don't have a conga line of death.
I mean, flanking for advantage isn't a default rule in 5th edition. You
It's a
don't
variant
have to
rule?
use
An
that
optional rule?
It's an optional. Well, I mean, all rules are optional, but it's noted as a variant rule in this. The only class that by default has to care about something like flanking is rogues for their sneak attack.
Mm-hmm.
The Conga Line of Death is purely a construct of the 3rd edition.
Plus, enemies can use it. But
Hey,
yeah.
Well, yes, it is. Like, if someone runs up and then an enemy runs up to flank them, and then an ally runs up to flank the enemy that flanked them, and then and it just goes on forever because everyone's getting advantage because everyone wants to flank.
Yep. It is a good time.
People.
Oh, those people.
Hey, so
Yeah.
chat, I offer you a piece of advice. Regarding how not to annoy the grumpier of content creators in the universe. Particularly with the Bridgers. Don't leave comments suggesting what jokes they should have made in the past.
Yeah.
Even if they agree with you, they can't rewrite history. Also, it's impossible to have included every joke that is possible to make in a given situation. Also, you might not be funny outside of the bubble of your brain in this instance. It's just not something that, like, it's not something a creator can really respond to or engage with.
What if you summon the concept of a joke as a servant?
Yeah, man.
You mean Tonica Shinbei?
Oh!
I feel attacked.
Saber's the one that took him. Saber's the one that took Assassin down, but Lancer's fucking killing it.
I guess I'll fucking leave. Bye.
Yeah,
Guess I'll go.
I say that because somebody just commented on one of our old episodes where someone was like, "You're not." Basically, said like, your attitude is not healthy for a conductive work environment, and they were like trying to overcorrect that it should have said conducive, and it's like, you're not wrong that conducive can be used there, but conductive is equally as correct. And they tried to be like, this isn't like a whole big conversation that happened. It was just one comment, but they tried to be like, fucking conductive means a transference of heat. To which I'm like, have you ever heard anyone say like conduct yourself accordingly? Like it's the word can be used for behavioral analysis, but it's just a general like, what do you want me to do? Go back and change episode 14 of Bleach Abridged?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do it. Go now. End the stream, Logan.
End the stream. Go take it down and
Go
re-upload it.
take it down and re-upload it.
Tell you
Make the joke.
Tell you something I noticed, buddy, that I'm just committing to. That is a mistake that I made in Inuyasha Bridge that you shouldn't have caught, and I don't blame you for not catching it. But when I was doing sound design, I noticed. In that when Kaede uses the prayer beads of subjugation, she screams prayers of subjugation as opposed to beads of subjugation. So
I noticed that. I was just like, whatever.
It's
Kaede channeling them thoughts.
He wrote it. I'm just here to put it in.
It's kind of whatever, because I think that it ultimately gets the same thing across, but I was like, it's too small of a thing. We're too deep in this already to go fucking change
I mean, that was the Yokomon L discrepancy between one of our Digimon movies.
Oh.
Where at the very, very end, she's all adorable, and the next one, she's like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Well, no, that was fucking because she was reborn. That was.
Well, no, like she was. We did that, but it's in the very last episode before we wrote the next episode where she was reborn. She said, "Are you gonna eat us?"
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
What
mess
a
up.
time.
We mess up plenty.
What?
I like to think
No one told me this.
I like to think I own up to it whenever we mess up, but at the same time, when people suggest stupid things, I'm normally like, hey, that's dumb.
Which is often.
Which is awful.
Please see the guy in Digimon who is like, "You guys don't fucking respect the source material. You should write some dick jokes and make Gabumon
Oh yeah,
gay."
fucking you guys don't respect the source material. By the way, you should make one of the Digimon gay for their tamer. It's like, I do not understand the tone of your comment.
Yeah. You are in two. You are driving two cars at once. Both are drifting, and they're on train tracks. What the fuck is going on?
Deja vu.
Blazing Edge of Crow. You said that Alter Ego was able to be summoned because of decisions from the Incinerator games. The decision was if they had not used Suzume's sword, then she would not have been summoned. And Gisei was told that he had to do both. He secretly didn't have to do both.
Yeah, I did not have to do both.
What the fuck?
See, here's where Eric would have been boss of the wall if Gisei only used Suzume's.
That actually was an option, and that would have been probably the largest thing that you guys could have done to fucking heck it up. Basically, the thing was, if you guys had died in the Incinerator game before getting to Goro and just having that sword, the impromptu summoning would have been that Alter Ego would have been summoned as the caster servant, and that just would have been that for the Grail War. The Incinerator games had a lot of things that could have affected the main game. I just didn't really dote on them with you guys, because once they happened, I was like, I'm not gonna sit here and be pretentious about how much this could actually change things, because who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Why did they tell him that he had to do both? Yeah, man.
Because they're fucking assholes, man. Nah, they basically just wanted to make sure they got something, I'm guessing.
That and having that sword helped work his way back. If you remember in the Incinerator games, the reason that you guys went into the interstice and you started at Suzume's death is because they needed to lock on to a certain, like, event in history and then follow its timeline back to Goro.
They wanted the servant around the event, not entirely the servant, you know?
Yep.
That's right.
They wanted to summon Goro in a very specific way. In that they wanted to summon a version of him that absolutely had the duel with, like, the duel of the swords with Muramasa. So they made sure that the interstice represented those events, and having both the essence of Masamune and Muramasa summoned guaranteed that it would be that particular version of him.
They just didn't really expect all of the nuances of that decision.
Yeah. Scroll of Banishment, Berserker.
And the entire time, Gisei was just like, "Oh yeah, fucking, oh yeah, we'll talk to you guys later. We'll be back. You fucking, I hope you guys know you're sending me out to die so that you can fucking live." Bye.
What would have happened if they killed Cassie in the Incinerator game? I feel like you've answered your own question. Heckin' Cassie would have been dead. I would have been fine with that.
Sure. Fucking banishes Berserker, starts beating the shit out of Cassie.
Castor. Okay.
Yeah, the only reason you and Nile are getting Alter is because of Deco, who is assassin, so looping us around. El Castor, yeah. Cassie is what me and Tosh called him for shorthand a long time ago. But yeah, if he had died there, he would have died. It kind of is what it is. I mean, was an unlikely situation, because even on his own, Ilka Torres...
Drow. Is Cassie the strongest master in the war?
I think he could one-on-one most of the other masters, yes. I would say...
He seems like out of all the masters we've seen, like, he's definitely strong. But, like...
Let's see.
It's hard putting him on the same level as someone like Orla, in my opinion.
I think that Orla could beat him. Just... Assuming they both go into a battle fresh, it would kind of just be a matter of like, hey, Meteor Swarm. Oh, you're still alive? Virtually anything else. But who would I consider the weakest master in the war? Who would I consider the weakest master in the war? I mean, I'm gonna not say Jack.
He is the only one who is not technically a mage.
That's a good question. I think Duncan's the strongest, which is hilarious, but it's true.
Yeah, just because the nature of what he does is capable of ridiculousness, but
he's technically capable of infinite 9th level spell slots, so...
I mean, yes, a roll. It's
Yeah.
the rolling for it is the thing that dooms him. His
crux.
probability
Mhm.
will push him away from it and towards the average.
Duncan is the strongest mage. It sucks that the world doesn't like him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is weirdly fitting, because if this were proper type moon, given the nature of Alquam, Gaia would probably have a problem with him and probably be trying to fuck him over constantly, but...
You know what? I'm just assuming it's canon at this point.
Let's see. I'd say individually Ian or Isla. I hate to say that, but, like...
I mean, it's reasonable. The party's not, like... The party's notably underdogs. If it was a one-on-one versus most master, I don't think anyone in the party could beat Orla
Yeah.
one-on-one. I don't think anyone in the party could beat Cass one-on-one. I don't think anyone in the party could beat Duncan one-on-one, assuming he doesn't completely fuck up and only get cantrips.
See, here's the thing though. If we were to say just masters and fighting one-on-one kind of thing, like you'd also have to think like, I mean, there is still Jack. We don't know much about him, but from what we do know about him, he's like doing some shadow stuff. Maybe they could
I'll give you
add
this
something
very
out.
mild, vague spoiler for Jack. He's not really much of a threat in regards to being able to kill most mages, but he's also currently... He would be very, very, very hard to actually kill.
And from what we've seen of the Dial Clan masters, like maybe getting one of them by themselves would be something, but that's a big maybe.
They're dangerous. I think the main thing is their lack of actual magic is why I don't consider them the strongest. In terms of, like, fighting, they could probably... Like, an individual Dial Clan member, like, let's say, like, could, in theory, fight a servant briefly, depending on the situation. I think a Dial Clan member, I think, like, versus Il Cassatore, I think that Il Cassatore would have a hard time. The only thing is that his armor's ridiculous, and he doesn't like taking damage because of it, and Blur. Those are the main things. But then also has an ability that's like, oh, hey, Blur, cool, I'll do that too. I don't know. Yeah, it's Ian or Isla. And yeah, Jack is definitely the weakest master in terms of if he fought any master. He's not going to win. He might not lose, but he's not going to win. Fucking... I will point out for Duncan, though fate seems against him, if he can stay away from somebody, his ability to cantrip Radiant Word and just hit everybody in front of him repeatedly makes him very dangerous if he's allowed to stay around for long enough.
Mm-hmm.
He can cantrip a group to death.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's like, I can tell you guys about it now, but if you guys ever fought Xanther before restoring his memory, he could basically only use cantrips. But he still had legendary actions and was a fucking lich. So he's like hard as balls, but not like actual lich hard. No, he's just an actual lich.
Wow, I can't see Duncan being dangerous, I'm sorry. You don't need to apologize.
I'm sure he would.
He doesn't really care if anyone finds him scary.
Just smoke and be sad and obliterate entire civilizations.
He'll just sit there being like, you're right. Okay.
Two separate questions.
I'm gonna summon Alquam and Alquam's avatar real quick.
Cool.
Logan, I'm constantly amazed by the depth and intricacies of the campaigns you make. Any advice? And to all of the players, you guys have done some amazing role-playing and made characters with very strong characterizations. Any advice for creating characters or coming up with personalities and sticking to them while role-playing?
Redressing question 1. First of all, thank you. I don't know if there's a trick to it. I also don't... How can I say this without it coming off as braggy? I don't make campaigns with the pretense of, like, I'm gonna make this super deep. I don't make characters with the pretense of, like, I'm gonna make them super interesting. Pretty much regarding Fate, I think everything is character-driven, pretty much. You set up a situation and you let characters move. That's my philosophy regarding how storytelling in a Fate-based game works, and I think planning anything is foolish. I think if you're going to do a Fate game, the best you can do is maybe plan, like, 2 or 3 major events that every one of the masters is going to try to do, like the party, for example, and then see how that goes. Regarding characters, I just kind of discover them by putting them... I have a vague idea of what I want to put into the game, and everything else about them comes from me being like, okay, how does a person come about getting to this point naturally in their life? And then everything kind of emerges from me working backwards and trying to imagine what their life must have been like for them to get to that point, and then I change the final result based on what I've discovered when I made their backstory. Like, Il Cassatore actually began as just a literal fucking half monster vampire way back, and then I was like, why would someone like that end up here? And in discovering what I did about him, I created this whole backstory about the church and a bunch of fucking slave related stuff that will probably never come up in game. And then by the time I got to the end, I was like, this is no longer what it was, and I'm cool with that. Bye, zombie.
Goodbye.
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 By Masamune's principles, if someone made a fork with the purpose of eating food, would he become a fork? He didn't say that you become whatever tool you use. He thinks that if you pick up a weapon, you become a weapon. A fork's not a weapon, unless your enemy is food.
I've killed someone.
Unless you have the tavern brawler feet.
So he's a slave vampire. He has an upsetting past that does not justify who he is, but it is... He has not had a good life, Il Cassatore.
He still has to die, though.
Oh, yes. His bad life has produced a bad person. I agree.
His bad life will soon come to an end.
For the second half of the question, there's no real trick. Sticking to a character that's a personal thing that's going to vary from person to person. And honestly, if you don't like a character, you as a player can meta your way into finding a way to change your character to something you want them to be.
Mm-hmm.
Or there's always a perfectly
really
nice dragon over there for you to shoot down if you don't like your cat. I'm kidding.
That's it's especially important fact for games where sometimes you might unintentionally make a character that's really hard to work with other characters. They might not mesh with you, and if you don't want, you can scrap them and roll a new character if the setting permits. If you really want to, if you think that they shouldn't change, but otherwise, you could change your character. You're their god as far as they're concerned. And if they are like, I suddenly feel different about something, you can rationalize it however you want. For creating an interesting character, the only thing I've ever really started to do that I've actually really attracted to for rolling characters is pick some secrets. They don't even have to be super huge things. Just have some secrets. Make like 2 or 3 things that your character wouldn't tell people, and then start rationalizing why, and you'll make your character a little more 3-dimensional, and then you just go from there. Everything else happens at the table. I think
character secrets when they're mundane. Like,
yeah,
I think a lot of people get into the pretense of, and in case there's anyone in present company that has what I'm about to say, I'm not judging you, but this is my opinion. I think making a character with some secret with the intention of, like, when this is revealed, it will rock the campaign, you're setting yourself up for disappointment, because that's just not how things go. People figure shit out.
In my head one day,
stuff gets dropped when you don't want it to. Stuff ends up never being important. So I think if like your character's gonna have secrets, having them be like character things, like neat things, fears, stuff like that, personally is what I find interesting. But I'm almost always on the DM side, so I guess my opinion comes from observing as opposed to playing. The
best thing to do is to not have any secrets at all.
The main character that I've played for the past 2 years has been Hadrick, who has had one secret, and like I said, it was kind of a mundane secret. So my last name isn't Grey Winter.
Just a bunch of little things. Your character might dislike cats. They might be afraid of spiders.
Might be a terrible person and dislike cats.
They might like prefer wine over ale, but they feel weird about it because they grew up with beer drinkers. Like, you can do all sorts of weird little idiosyncrasies that everyone actually has in real life, and just having a couple of those, just pulling them out of the blue, are super fun to have in your back pocket, and they make your character do things differently than they otherwise would have. Yeah, other than that, there's not a lot of advice I could give, because most of it happens at the table. Like, you can plan your character all you want, but if your character's not subject to change, then you should write a book. And I find almost always the first 3 to 5 sessions of a campaign is really what forms a character. Your character creation will give you the concept, and then you might shoot wildly off mark, but you might find something you really, really like anyways, which is usually what I find the case is. Because a little of you is probably always going to bleed into your characters, and that's entirely fine. And the more and more comfortable you get at role-playing, the more and more comfortable you're going to get role-playing things that are wildly off you. But even then, parts of you are going to bleed through just because that's the nature of the game. When you're playing a character in a live setting for, 3 to sometimes 9 hours, sometimes longer with some groups, you're going to have these slip-ins because that's just the nature of the beast.
My characters always get excited when there's a dungeon around because I like dungeons.
Like, speaking of, like, just speaking primarily from a point of being a player, because I don't think I do this much in my DMing, but primarily from the point of being a player, like, I do completely agree. Like, every character that I've made, I feel like there's a little piece of me, or like a little bit of me I can look at them. And a lot of the times I over-exaggerate that point because it's a character, but yeah, it's very much so. Like, that's one really good way, in my opinion, to get into your character, is to make them be something that you recognize about yourself, whether that be good or bad.
Oh, yeah. I think a lot of people's first characters is basically just a self-insert to some degree. It's obviously muted to some degree, but
yes, I am
almost
blue
always you're like, okay.
Sorry, that's play.
Okay. The fact is, yeah, most first-time players, they don't know really what they're getting into, and it's rare that someone's like, I want to be a grumpy old woman, and can my weapon be a rolling pin, and I want to be like a barbarian.
People fucking do that shit, though.
They do, but it's rare that it's their first character. Sometimes it happens. I can't say it doesn't, but generally speaking, someone wants to make a fantasy character of some degree, and they're more interested in the class than they are in what the internal life of whatever character they're hopping into is, and they want to play the game first and learn the mechanics, and doing both at once is just kind of confusing. So you'll find early on, characters are much more similar to the player, and then they can start diverging. But that's just from observation. I couldn't pull up statistics to show you that. That just seems to be what my experience has been.
Buddy, do you have any particular like methods that you use when you're making characters, or like any particular like avenues of thought you go down?
Lately I've just been I guess I only ever have like, hold on, let me restart. Lately I've been letting a lot of like random chance roll make my characters for me, because I make the characters basically like in the middle of game. Like, I discover their personalities in the middle of the game. I just get their mechanics down first, and then but if I have a solid idea of like what I want my character to be, like for the game I will be playing in Logan's Vestige game
In 1 million years.
In 1 million years, I have a very solid idea of like what I want him to be. So, yeah.
I really agree with you, though, about the point of like the character not really actually being a character till you start playing it.
Yeah.
Like, even if you have a great like understanding of, oh yeah, I know what this character's gonna be like, they fucking surprise you sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They come out of left field, and it's like, I did not know that about you or me.
Hadrick was not meant to be much of anything. I kind of wanted to play a character that would sort of be in the background of the group for the most part, and I did not get what I wanted.
You didn't.
I did not at all. I realized that around like session like 12, when our conversations usually ended with me being like, why am I deciding? But
All right, let's put it to a secret vote. Is Hadrick the leader of our party?
yeah,
No.
I'm not passing out the ballots.
Everyone's in agreement.
I have control over the secret vote, and I'm not passing out the ballots.
Everyone's in agreement. Hadrick's the leader.
But yeah.
It's
Heckin'.
unanimous. Then.
Somebody
No
asked.
secret vote means Hadrick's the leader.
Somebody asked earlier, any advice, given that most stuff happens at the table, any advice for improving improv or roleplay skills? The main things to remember are like the basic tenets of roleplay, which is, for the most part, say yes or yes and. Like, try to go along with people's things. Don't be absurd. Like, and I'm not saying don't have fun, but like, don't... Your table will probably feel better long-term if your solutions to things aren't like... Oh, we need weapons? Let's kill the blacksmith. I'm sure he has some stuff in his shop.
Let's go over there and steal.
Yeah, like try to play.
You want to be a murder hobo party? That's fine.
You can
Just make sure everyone's on the same table as you are.
Yeah.
And also make sure you
be open to things, be willing to be vulnerable. I'm not saying like your character should constantly have breakdowns or anything, but be willing to be wrong, be willing to be vulnerable, and to be open to being affected by things, because a lot of people go into D&D, especially anime fans, because there's like a 90% overlap at this point between like animation nerds and D&D players. A lot of people go in with like, this is my character's tone and attitude, and they will not be moved from it. There's nothing wrong with wiggling. In fact, the best characters often, you can be that archetype while having layers, and that's probably what you'll have the most fun with. So... Don't go in being like, I'm the stoic, like, I'm the smart one of the group. I'm the piccolo in the back that I don't talk much, but when I'm asked my opinion, I know what I'm talking about. Like, you can have that, but you can also be the one who, like, I don't know, wants to constantly play cards with people in the group, or you have small things, like whenever people eat, your character has opinions on like what they're willing to eat or what kind of inns they stay in. Like, you don't have to just be the one thing.
Yeah, it's easy to fixate on having a shtick, because that's one of the most actable things, and a lot of people hunt for things you can do as a character. But it's okay to just be a character. I mean, heck, like a lot of the characters I play in Nat19, other than facilitating speed, they're usually quiet boys for the most part, but they're all wildly different, and like they're fun. Oliver was sitting there playing with a bee for 20 minutes because hell yeah. And that's where I think a lot of the most fun I've ever had was breakfast roleplay. I'm like, all right, well, I don't know they're missing. I'm gonna have a shower, I'm gonna have cereal, I'm not gonna wake anyone up. Why would I? I don't know they're gone, so let's find out what cereals exist. Logan. And you gave me lots of fun.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's all it was, and that was probably one of the most friendly things he did. Otherwise, most of the time he'd be like, I'm gonna listen to music and hang out with Doraemon, and we're gonna angst over here, fuck y'all.
How much backstory do you think is too much backstory? Also, how much do you think characters are allowed to have accomplished, have happened? That depends on the kind of game you're playing. 20
pages of backstory is too much backstory.
You leave Jane alone. So
sorry, 30.
I'm assuming the question it revolves around like first to third level characters, because once you're past level 5, I'd say, short of being like a civilization saving hero, you can do pretty much whatever you want kind of at that point. Yeah. But like level 1 to 3 depends on the table. I wouldn't make yourself out to be any kind of cultural hero or well-known mage. Like, you can be, like, part of, like, a mage order or whatnot, or, like, a mage college, and be like, and you're very well-known and very, like, an up-and-comer there. But don't make yourself like, and I'm the headmaster of the Grand Academy of the country's capital, because the disconnect between what you can do and what you've insinuated will not play well.
Unless you're lying about it.
Unless you're lying about it.
Then you can say whatever you want.
Beyond that, like, avoid stuff like, I grew up and was contacted by a god, and so I joined an order of knights, which I quickly rose in the ranks of and became the leader of, but I grew tired of it, so went on a mission where I encountered a dragon that taught me a sword style that was known only to ancient heroes, which I returned back home to and became the knight king of my home country. Also, I'm level 1.
Yeah.
Like,
Logan, you don't have to tell them my backstory for a few.
I think who was it? I think it was like 7 years ago. I think it was Dawn Forged. I watched his entire video. I think it's just called Be Luke Skywalker. He's like, don't give your character, don't write a whole book for your character because you're about to tell their story. If they're done, if you're some crazy veteran hero that saved the world countless times, why are you doing it again for 2, maybe 3 years of play? You're done. You're probably rich as Cox according to your backstory. It's like, be Luke Skywalker. Be a guy who wants to go somewhere else. Don't be like, don't pull a Harry Potter and be like, I don't want to be a fucking wizard. Leave me alone. And don't be like Thor. Be just a guy who's like, yeah, someone hand me a lightsaber. Let's do this shit. And go on your adventure. It's a lot easier to grow and have room to grow if you don't have 9 million things you have to figure out what they mean to your character. Similar to Buddy's previous thing, I liked rolling for a lot of random shit. I did the This Is Your Life stuff in Xanathar's Guide when making the Vestige character. It's super fun because I didn't know what I wanted to play, so we just rolled shit, and then Logan's like, I challenge you to be more social this time. I'm like, okay, Bard it is. And now I'm a tiefling bard with a fucking weird-ass backstory that could never come up, but I have a bunch of siblings. My parents, except for, I think, one, seem to be alive. So it's like, yeah.
I enjoy, just to cut in, I enjoy... There's a comment that is just, alright, here's my, I'm gonna assume level 1 character's backstory. My name is Optimus Prime.
You're probably wondering how I got in this mess.
Fucking just show fucking a guy who has like vaguely truck-looking armor being attacked by zombies and just over like, no, freeze. Yep, that's me again. I'm Optimus Prime. And I bet you're wondering how I got into this situation. It all started 3 weeks ago.
That trope is my favorite ever. Just the fucking, you're probably wondering how I got here.
And I guess another thing is you don't have to think too hard about it, too. Like, a lot of stuff can just come up, or you can work with your DM and make shit up along the way. People have created character goals and be like, I want a thing. I'm going with the party only because my character wants this thing. Once he has it, he's gone. And then he was like, what is that thing? You're like, I don't know. Let's figure that out as we adventure. Because you still want to play the game, ultimately. Or Gomithrius, one of my favorite characters I ever roleplayed. He's not a D&D character, but his entire goal is he seeks the Iron Chalice. He doesn't even know what the Iron Chalice is, but he was told to find it, and damn well he's going to do it. That's it.
Some advice I gave, I've been working with Izzy for his character. If you're going to give your character a goal, make it something actable and achievable. Because I guess I could talk about, like, one of the rejected ideas he had. He asked me, like, can I make a character whose goal is, like, they want to rule the world? To which I responded, like, I won't stop you, but I don't know how you're going to play that. Like, pretty much you can only make jokes about that. So, like, having something achievable, but also kind of open-ended, like, I don't know. Deco, do you mind me talking about what your Afucus character's goal is?
Fucking go for it, dude. I want to talk about him freaking...
So pretty much, he is the last... Or he's set to inherit, like, to become the head of his family, his Knight Order. The last Airbender? His father died. He's now the head of the family. It's like an order of knights. So he was supposed to inherit some things. But the caravan moving his, like some of the stuff from one of their family's keeps to where he was ransacked, and some things were stolen from it, including a particularly important locker that something's in it that he has a key for that's really important. So his character's entire goal pretty much is to try to find the bandits that stole this thing to get it back, which is a very actable goal. It gives you, like, it establishes, like, what you want. It establishes, like, your backstory. It gives importance to something, and he has no idea what's in there. So I could open it up and be like, this thing will lead into other things. Yeah. It's a very good role-playing goal.
Hell, you could get there, and he gets to the box, and he opens it, and they busted the lock and opened it, and
yeah, exactly.
And now you go to the next city. It's having short-term goals that are actable and achievable. Even if you have, like, let's say you have an overarching character goal of I wish to rule the world, which is grandiose, but even working there, you'd have to change what is my goal now. So at that point it'd be, I need money because I need to hire soldiers, or I need to build a keep.
Yeah, what I asked Izzy was, I was like, what are your milestones? And the problem was there wasn't really any we could find. But my question, I didn't go like, no, you can't. It was, okay,
it
but
was,
like, what are your,
how are you going to go about
what
this?
steps are you taking to do that? Because otherwise it's just going to be a thing your character says and doesn't do.
You could want to become a monarch or join like the ranks of nobility. You could be like Hal Griffith in Berserk. His entire thing is, I want to make us all cool.
If you're playing just a fun game, people don't often enough play the I'm a treasure hunter angle, which I think they should more. And I'm not talking about like I'm in it for money. I mean treasure hunting. Like your character's purposes, they want to find artifacts, like rare magic, like one of a kind items, like fucking Meryl from, I think it's Meryl? I can't remember her name. Chick from Dot Hack, whose whole deal was like, I don't care about this like life-threatening stuff that you're doing. I'm just a rare item hunter.
Dank loot, yeah. Yeah, it's totally a valid thing to have. Especially money is anyone in the universe in D&D, no matter what your goal is, you can almost always put gold pieces towards achieving it. And because of that, it's always a useful reward for players. If you don't know what your character wants immediately, find out what's your short-term goal and how you can achieve it, and it's probably going to be something you can either buy or something you can buy something to get through. Almost every single character has these for money.
Yep.
That's why a lot of the old adventures basically only reward with money, because they don't care if your character's good or evil or whatever. It's never, save the blacksmith's daughter because you're good people. It's, the town has offered to pay you this much money for saving the blacksmith's daughter. And they're like, let's go, boys. And, you know, the evil necromancer along with the lawful good paladin are both working together for whatever ridiculous reason you want to give here, because both of them need money. But their internal reasons for doing so are probably vastly different.
Yeah. Gold talks. Yeah, I don't know. Fucking. What other questions do we? Because we talked about motivations and whatnot a lot. I will. Yeah, just come back to the original question. Have enough in your backstory to make it actable. I also recommend against ever having an I am the chosen one backstory, just because I've never seen those play out in a satisfying way. Like
the prophecy.
The prophecy. Because especially the problem becomes like, and then what if your character dies? Like, how do you? I wasn't the chosen one. And then like the world keeps moving on because it does, and then
that's
the DM has to be like, it turns out you weren't the chosen one.
I think that's something that would have to be, you know, let the DM come to you with stuff like that. Coming to the DM and be like, I want to be the chosen one of this prophecy is, you could do it, but I do agree with Logan that it's probably not the best. But if you're midway through a campaign and something like that hooks into you, and you want to run with it, run with it. That sounds like a lot of fun. And if you die, yeah, they hid part of the prophecy from you or some shit. Like, they could make it work at that point because it's all on the DM's side and you only know what he gives you.
It's basically, you were part of the prophecy. The prophecy was made by someone who was drunk.
I think like, personally, I think if you're going to have stuff like that, having it be, like, legend spoke of 6 heroes that would do this thing, which kind of gives it this vague twist that is like, so if one of you dies, your new character could probably be one of the 6 heroes. But I think attaching that level of importance to any character is not a great idea. I think it takes away from the fun, because then everything you do is kind of laced with this sense of like, but I need to save the world.
Depending on the prophecy, I guess we're going the led to save the world thing. But even smaller things, you could work with it.
I have to go really quick. I'll be right back.
Okay, bye.
Good luck with the video.
I
never actually believed in him.
That's
I
fair.
think is stronger coming from the DM's point of view. I know there's some stuff similar that comes up in CR, and I won't talk about it since we have a lot of people watching it.
CR's environment is like so atypical, though. Like, it's so not what you
it's
should
also
expect your table to be.
meticulously prepped. and having the ability to roll with stuff, the amount of times I've seen a Talks mock, so what was that thread about, to Matt? And he's like, yeah, it started and I had a really strong idea and then some stuff happened and I went home and rewrote everything.
Yeah, which happens.
Which is it's common. But you don't seek that out. That's kind of seeking out a prophesized backstory, unless it ties directly into something the DM has asked about, or asked for, I should say. Is very similar to I want to be, but I don't want to know, or something like that. Where let the game surprise you. Don't write your own surprises because you will find them less interesting. The DM will be able to surprise you with much more interesting things if you just let them do it.
I like the idea of a real prophet running around telling random people they're the chosen one. Just fucking, he like goes around being like, sees warriors like, yes, I recognize the crest upon your armor. Legend speaks of you overthrowing the dread king. And then just in a bar later, having done this to 50 people, he's just talking to like someone. He's like, I mean, one of them will probably do something, right? Like, if I say it to enough people, sooner or later, one of them's gonna be like a fucking amazing hero, I guess.
He just does it so he can say he was the one who put them on that path.
Either way, King's going down. Raises beer mug. Yeah.
King is going down.
Man is fallible. My ability to see the Chosen One is very limited. From what I understand, the Chosen One will be someone who is currently alive. It's not a lot to go on.
You're not wrong.
Yes, I hate the king.
I hate the king. What did the king do to you?
That's
I think a lot of the kind of core of what we're getting at is try and differentiate what your D&D is from a novel, because it's not. And in a novel, in a perfect world, you can have a chosen one and they'll make it to where they need to be. But D&D is rarely so convenient and will almost always botch those plans.
True.
Yeah, almost always. It's rare that things go off without a hitch for either the GM or the players. Having a prop, not a terrible thing, but having a specific, very much like a you will rise up and throw down the Dread Emperor, and you will fell his hordes, and you shall save the world and bring light back to our country. And then you get shot in the chest by a kobold with a crossbow, and you fucking die. Still doable. There's things that could work, but the DM will always shy away from giving anyone some sort of plot armor, because that's also, it takes the stakes away. As soon as a character can't actually die, then no one cares. So it's a tightrope to walk. That's one of those edgy, dangerous places where I would say for DMs, if you want to go there, but know you're running a dangerous game. And for players, don't make your DM go there.
It's a dangerous place to let your DM go there.
He's no, I don't mean, like, if they're up for it, yeah, but don't like write a story and be like, make me the chosen one who's gonna fell the Dread Emperor, because there's gonna be some shit. Although honestly, you could also, if a DM was feeling sassy, yeah, the prophet was just some drunk guy full of shit. Just started this whole adventuring campaign. You'd be like, yes, I shall fell the Dread Emperor. Dread Emperor's actually an okay guy. He becomes the new patron of the party.
Becomes their sponsor.
Hope to apply some of this. Everyone will find their different like style of DMing too. Like I have a lot of things, like I have a lot of strong opinions about not letting things get too ridiculously silly. My personal style of storytelling is very set piece based, I would say. I very much like to think in terms of large events that will happen. I don't trust things to set themselves up in a sense of like I don't plan for a big plot affecting event if I know it's something that if the players go left on a road it's not going to happen. If like that kind of stuff comes up, I'm just like whatever, I'll just leave stuff to random chance. I tend to focus my efforts on like large scale things that cannot be changed For example,
cannot.
unless you guys murder Jack, which is unlikely, the party is happening. Maybe you won't be there, but it will happen. And like, there's a part of me that's like, you guys may decide not to go, but are you here to play D&D or are you not? Like,
Yep.
No, I hate
It's
D&D.
another big thing. That was that Spoonie and the fucking tea story, where he's like, yep, this lady's poisoned this tea. And he's looking at all the other players. He's like, I drink the tea.
oh, wasn't that a succubus thing?
I don't think it was a succubus for that one. I think it was like a streamed game they were all playing. It was him and a couple of like Angry Joe.
I always remember that as like, I always remember that example as like, you go into a bar, an attractive woman starts like trying to seduce you, and she recommends coming back to like a secluded place, and you as the player are like, yeah, it's a succubus, but am I here to play D&D or am I not? Yeah, I go with them. Like,
Yeah, no, it was like a noblewoman, that like invited them over for tea to talk about something, and she like drugged the tea, so they all passed out, and then they woke up in a dungeon, and the story happened. He's like, I knew it was poisoned, and all you are gonna tell me that I'm fucking lying and full of shit. But I'm telling you, I knew it was poisoned. But you gotta ask yourself the question sometimes: am I here to play D&D or not?
yeah.
With I think the one you think of is his "All Women Are Evil" video, which is just like, if your DM puts a lady in front of you, she's a monster. Actually, I think both of those are in the same one. But yeah, he talked. It was like, if you hit on a chick in a bar and she's actually fucking interested in your ass, yeah, it's a succubus. You're gonna die. That's why you rock the buddy system. You sleep in twos because someone needs to be there to rip that bitch off you, or she will fuck your soul out. And you will die.
One more question. Beyond a desperate need for gold, what about connecting character motivations to work with / put up with the party for at least some amount of time instead of just saying, cool for you guys, I have no need for you people? Oh, you're asking, like, what can you do to keep characters around? Again, just give them, like, a motivation that's some ongoing thing. Fucking Critical Role is a really good template for that. Not that I'm saying you should emulate the tone of it, but, like, the character backstory blurbs they did, like, Grog has nowhere to go. Fucking, I can't remember the exact.
He's friends with Pike, yeah.
Friends with Pike. Keyleth is doing the whole, like, what was the name of her, like, pilgrimage?
Aramente.
The Aramente. Fucking Vax and Vex have
Each other.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I'm trying to think of, like, what's their ongoing. I guess that's just they're surviving is what they're doing.
Yeah, they were all mercenaries when they met each other.
Percy has a huge fucking revenge boner that he needs to settle. Like, they all have stuff that keeps for when Tiberius was there. It didn't really come up much in game, but he had a list of artifacts and magic items that he was looking into that he wanted to know more about. Stuff like that. Just have an ongoing interest that is something the DM can seed into the campaign.
Yeah, I think, and strictly if you're talking about coming into, like, characters butting heads, and why your character isn't, like, let's say the lawful good paladin, neutral evil necromancer, or whatever, that tried and true thing, why the hell they'd work together, it's going to be different every single time. And if you both honestly think your characters can't get along, and your character would walk, you can do that, but then work with your DM at that point. Find a specific reason why this is important enough to your character to not, like, someone could die is usually the thing. Usually it's people are in danger. And you're willing to work with this person to save lives or to get your payout. Once this adventure is done, that's when your character should walk. Never rock it like in the dragon's cave. That's not a great point to be like, yeah, fuck y'all, I'm out. And then my new character yeets in from a window. It's weird feeling for everyone, and it's not a nice story beat. If you guys get back to town, you have like 2-3 days to relax. He's like, hey guys, I'm not working with that necromancer anymore. I'm sorry, I gotta go. I'm gonna find some other people. Nice working with you. I hope you're all safe. Bye. And you know, paladin fucks off, or the necromancer fucks off, and then they come back with their new character. But generally speaking, if with a strong enough desire, any group can find a reason why they work together. Look at Raistlin in Dragonlance. He is a horribly, horribly evil person, but he gets along with the party because he cares about his brother. He will commit atrocities, and he, without batting an eye, he's like, yeah, sure, fuck him.
He's probably why I love sorcerers. I'm gonna be transparent. He's probably why I have an irrational love for sorcerers.
I get that. Fucking, he's like this badass wizard motherfucker who just runs around throwing down magic at cunts.
And is stuck in a time
and-
loop where he keeps eating himself, his own fucking mind in the past.
And he comes like one of the big climaxes in Dragonlance is Raistlin starting to come into conflict with his two big goals. His goal is get more power, protect my brother, and
I always thought it was Raistlin.
eventually those two cannot happen. They cannot work together anymore. Eventually, if he wants more power, he needs to hurt his brother or piss him off, or he can't protect him anymore. And that's interesting story. That's really fun to watch. Someone who has that kind of conflict. You know, it'd be like telling Jolene she could fucking decapitate Hadrick or a dragon will destroy Neverwinter or some shit. That would be really neat to watch because she really fucking likes Hadrick, clearly.
What?
But Neverwinter's her home. And so that would be a moment where everyone would shut the fuck up and Brett would probably cry. And it would be great.
To quickly answer, can you play an evil paladin, or does that not exist? Oathbreaker paladins, really. And I mean, if you really want to, you could, like, have paladins for other things. It's really, as your DM is the final word on that, because you could play a paladin for another thing and just be like, fucking, what are they called? What Monty is.
Riggers? Oh, Monty? Monty's a Oath of Vengeance.
Yeah. If you just choose to ignore certain facts, like that class, for example, you could totally be like, you are a paladin of an evil god. Like,
oh, yeah,
done.
absolutely. I mean, that's totally a working with your DM. If you don't want to be an Oathbreaker, but you still want to serve an evil being, I mean, Gael's
Yep.
Oath of Night, he serves a demon lord.
Yep.
Yeah, it's totally doable. It's very actable. Cashew, his god is, as far as they ever talk about it, not a good deity. He's like, yeah, I'm a cleric of an evil god. Hi. I like helping people.
Paladins of Conquest. How do you feel about characters with linked backstories or really closely linked characters like masters, servants, or family members? Masters and servants is its own conversation, because that's typically a very mechanical relationship that I think if you want to get into that, you need to disillusion yourself from thinking about how fate works as an anime and apply how, like,
I think he's talking specifically like I'm a rich person and you work for me.
Oh, well, in this particular chat, saying masters and servants fucking confuses me.
Yeah.
But are they talking about like two players in the group?
Like two players coming in with a previously linked backstory.
It seems fine to me.
So
I
don't
think there's a lot to say about
I
it.
personally love it. Having two characters
Makes
like
things
right
easier.
now, as far as I know, Deco and I are, if
That's
the Vestige campaign
what
kicks
I'm
off,
pushing
we're
you
gonna be
guys to
coming
do.
in previously knowing each other, because it makes role playing immediately easier because you can, outside of game before it even happens, talk about stuff your characters have done and jokingly role play about stuff, and then you hop in and it's less awkward in your first session, I think.
Yeah.
Critical Role entirely did that in season 2. Like there was 3 groups of players that bumped into each other rather than everyone suddenly being next to each other being like, hello, stranger who I have met for the first time but will decide to trust in this specific instance for basically no reason. It gets rid of a lot of that tension that happens. And it can be a good or bad thing, but I see that generally as a fun thing.
Yeah. Like, in general, I try to, when we're making campaigns and whatnot, I try to tell everyone, like, you know at least one other person in the party. Like, you have a reason that you're with them, because it gives them somebody to play off of when they come in. Yeah. I find that people are much more willing, if they have at least one person they're comfortable talking to, players are much more willing to explore the character with everyone else, because they at least know, like, well, if fucking you're being mean to me, at least I can go back to them. So it helps. I actually would like it if, like, in this upcoming game, I could get everyone into groups of 3, but I'm not pushing for that unless it naturally emerges.
Yeah, it's rare that any sort of humanoid would travel by themselves.
Yeah.
Eden and Isla, yeah, they're a good example. They had each other to really bop off. The first session, despite the memey nature of it, was a really fun time, and they just got into it really quick. They're like, all right, who are those cunts? Let's rob them. like making egg timer bombs and weird shit and being dorks, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Egg timer bombs.
But people don't travel alone. I think, especially in a Forgotten Realms type setting, it's rare that you're like, yes, I'm going to hop on a horse and ride off down the road. Like, there's highwaymen, there's monsters. Like, you live in a world with pinpricks of light where like civilization and safety exists to some reasonable degree. Anywhere else, and you are risking yourself. So most people will travel in caravans. They'll travel in carts with 4 or 5 people, because that way, if someone attacks you, you can maybe fight them off and run away. You can maybe kill them and survive.
Yeah.
Good times.
It is good times.
It took so long to use those egg timer bombs.
Yep.
No, I'm not a cat.
It's true, he's not a cat.
He wishes he was, though.
Don't we all?
Man.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah, but
oh
what proof
man.
do you have though? Like,
I've never observed myself. Wait. Shit, guys, I'm a human. I just looked down for the first time in my life.
I've never been so angry before in my
But
entire
now, if you're talking about my new character, no, he's not a tabaxi or any sort of kitty race.
It's true.
He's a Teffeling.
He's a Teffeling.
Tiefling.
Shut up.
He's a TIE fighter.
That's how it was spelled in the chat right there.
It's wrong.
Someone
That's
put
not how you say-
TYFLING.
I've heard actual people like unironically say that it's pronounced Tiefling. I'm like, you're wrong.
You're incorrect.
You're incorrect.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
Not on the fucking Ganassi Genasi
You know,
situation, but that
it-
definitely.
It always gets me really happy when I hear wizards come out with a pronunciation of something like that, and I'm like, I have them to point at, and they made the game. Except then they said Mordenkainen is Mordenkainen, and I was like, I will say it, but I will do so begrudgingly.
Devil's advocate, they do make the game, and they are the final authority on that, but a lot of terms were created by creative teams that are no longer with them.
Yeah. Although I also looked up the etymology of Mordenkainen. Is based off of like 2 Swedish words. Because Mordenkainen was a character played by Gary. All of the Circle of 8 were Gary Gygax's characters. And they eventually just became this weird thing of myth that burned its way into the lore of Dungeons and Dragons.
And there's also certain words that it would be like, fucking the Tiamat thing. It's like, well, what does wizards say? It's like, I don't know. What do the ancient Mesopotamians say? Because they made up the word.
Yeah. No, with Mordenkainen specifically. He was just gibberish.
Yeah.
It's
But
true.
yeah, I think it's just because I'm so used to seeing Kai, meaning Kai, because I watch a fuckload of anime, so I'm like, Mordenkainen.
Mm-hmm.
What, do you have any thoughts on the use of anti-parties as antagonists or foils for the party? I mean, when you boil it down to it, that's just a group of enemy NPCs. Which
Rival party? Yeah, I think less than like someone they would fight and people that compete, like someone that might be going for the same mark. Let's say there are, you're on like the Trial of the Take, right?
Me?
Yeah,
I'm way past
Critical
that.
Role. Yeah, so with the when they go after the White Dragon, had there been like a second party that was racing them to fight the White Dragon, kind
that
of
could be cool.
on the same contract.
I think that's like something that comes up topically. Like, it's not something that you'll always have around. I think if there's like an NPC party that like pops up every time you try to do anything, it's eventually going to be like, can they just go away?
It's just it's the rival trainer from Pokemon.
It's like, I absolutely think it's a good idea.
later.
I absolutely think it's a good idea, but
Also,
opposing master servants are kind of like that. Okay, that one clearly is talking about Fate. And I mean, yes, kind of. A Fate game has an implied, very specific narrative, though. Because the campaign is very much based around, like, there's 6 other people, in theory. Go get them.
So here it is. I looked it up because I wanted to remember what it was. It was Finnish mythology. Mordenkainen is a portmanteau of the heroes Mordecai and Lemminkainen.
Oh, neat.
What a neat thing.
Mordecai's a cool name.
Mordecai? Yeah.
Yeah. I just remember the character from Borderlands. I'm like, oh, you're cool.
Mm-hmm. That's where I've heard it.
That's where.
So
Parents have.
I clicked on Mordecai to read about him, and I must have missed this part of the book. But he's one of the main personalities in the book of Esther in the Hebrew Bible. He is described as being the son of Jair of the tribe of Benjamin. And I don't know why that made me laugh so hard.
This is such a normal name.
The tribe of Benjamin. Well, I went like a couple ways. First, I was just like some guy named Benjamin, and then I thought like Benjamin as in like the Benjamins. So it's just a bunch of dudes with sunglasses riding horses and camels. I was like, this is fucking excellent.
I just dropped a link to the Nat19 official Twitter into the chat. We're going to be using that probably in future for Nat19 things as it becomes more active. In particular, too, like I hope to have her fan art and stuff to go there. Mostly, I just wanted to secure a Twitter before somebody else got the idea to do it.
Someone takes it and they're like, give me $500. People do
Will you
that
post-
for some reason.
Will you post to that when streams go live? I'll probably post to my main account as well, but I am going to try to post to both of them, yeah. It also gives people something to at specifically when they want to ask everyone something, as opposed to me.
I still want to make that Rakshasa cocktail
Rakshasa.
with some kushasa.
Rakshasa.
Ukatoa.
I think my favorite was just the long fucking pregnant pause, and then Matt just leans into the mic. Just everyone on the table starts looking around like, what the fuck?
Jesus Christ. Huh.
They're all so excited. He's like, no, I just wanted in on the joke.
I wanted to have one too.
It's like, nothing actually happened.
I recently, Aaron, I think I told you I recently caught up and hit the chair moment.
Oh god, yeah, you did.
Like it's
Game
a
Hog,
chair.
has Izzy ever been in the one shot before?
Yeah.
I believe the answer is yes, because of the
Yep.
winning the Cobalt one shot
Well, I mean, my birthday.
and the birthday one, and yeah.
Oh
like,
yeah.
I just think he's been in a couple at this point.
I've been in
That,
Nat19
he was in the
specifically.
DCC stuff.
Yeah, I don't think.
Oh well, no, that'd be observable because there's only been a couple one shots on Nat19,
Yeah.
and out of all the one shots, like one of them was a one shot.
Yeah.
I miss Darius,
I miss him
but
too.
he's petrified right now.
But yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, he's a little. Wait a minute, no, he's not.
Oh right, yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
Yormir is.
Yormir is petrified because he said, "I will fucking fight to the death, fucking death before dishonor." And you're like, "I surrender." And he's like, "Cool, you can
And
come
Darius is like a step away from being petrified. Yormir is petrified.
Yeah.
out." You listened like a good pet.
Yeah, Darius
did.
is at the point where
Darius is a good boy.
his
yeah.
petrification exceeds the limit at which you would have to start making charisma saves versus being completely petrified. But Berserker never gave him the final bap that would make that happen. Whereas Yormir is just he's fucking ivory and gold currently. Let's see.
Oh, that's pretty.
It's on a 24-hour stream one shot.
Be fucking
Isn't that
specific or don't comment.
Oh yeah, for Dante's stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
The
right,
one-shot
yeah.
that happened during that.
I forgot, right, yeah, there was, on the other side of that, there was a thing.
Yeah. There was a thing.
There was a thing.
Now I want to fucking watch Ace Ventura.
Chicago.
You're out of there. Go on. You're
Go
gone. No, go on. Fucking sheep of a tribe. Like, oh, I guess I gotta go. I had that movie on VHS when I was like freaking 10, and I watched it on repeat until I basically had the movie memorized, and I wasn't old enough to get like 2/3 of the jokes in the film. I just loved Jim Carrey.
I think the first time I ever saw that movie was like I don't know if it was like Cartoon Network or fucking Nickelodeon or whatever. Some channel that I would not have expected to show that movie showed that movie, and I was like, "What is this? This isn't a cartoon."
This is not a cartoon at all.
This isn't a cartoon.
But then I saw it and I loved it.
I've
Yeah.
been betrayed.
I actually saw When Nature Calls before I saw the original.
Yeah, I think actually that was the one they were showing too. So I would did it in the same order.
Mm.
Hell yeah.
May I ask you a question?
No.
Yes, the one you did. You've used your one.
He didn't use a question mark though, so you could be stating maybe. May I
Why I
ask
ask you a
question?
question?
In that case, no answer. You don't know.
Or perhaps my eye is asking us a question, and he just forgot the ing.
I'm so confused.
I'm just being a grammar dick.
My eye asked you a question.
Answer him.
My eye actually sounds like a really fucking cool name for a character.
My eye.
Yeah, like M. What would it be? M-A-I-I. My eye.
Yeah.
So what's this new Nat19 campaign I've been hearing about? It's a thing I've been working on for a while and will run in a few campaigns from now.
Forever from now.
It is not DCC, no.
No, it will be 5th edition, as far as I am aware.
Yeah.
Considering we've rolled our characters in it. My hair is asking a question. Oh, you should answer it. Hey, Hadrick, how long are you going to spend with that Tome of Wisdom before you admit to the party you can't read?
He can read.
Fucking
he has
savage.
he has very basic reading skills because he would have to like fucking read schedules and orders and stuff.
He just like stares at the book for 48 hours and pretends he knows more now.
It's just that fucking Astiff movie thing. Just a guy with a book looks at the screen. Or instead of fucking, what is it? Instead of the I have no idea how to breathe, it's the I have no idea how to read.
Without getting into the specifics of it, anyone aware of Oglaf will remember a comic where a dude is presented with a less than safe for work prophecy floating in front of him in the air, which says you are the chosen one. He's just staring at it like, wish I could read. He just walks back and continues farming. That's it.
I love it.
Cobra Gladiator apparently can't stop imagining Veloci as a fox girl. He knows that he's not correct, but apparently when he imagines stuff from the Tomb campaign, they imagine Veloci as having like fox ears and stuff.
Clearly, it's whenever the anime comes out, she'll just grow them whenever she's excited.
Of course. That would be adorable, actually.
I've decided that they're correct.
You know what? I've also decided this.
Yeah.
Secret sub-ray,
As the
Kitsune
DM.
ASMR.
You can't just change the universe at will. I mean, if the player and the DM both agree that it's fact, then I think it is.
It could, in fact, just be fact.
I'd like to. Actually, I'm working on a Kitsune fox race currently.
Jack, as far as my understanding goes, is a wraith based on the Legend of Jack. Or not a wraith, but rather just an amalgamation of the legend.
What, Jack from Apocrypha?
Yeah.
They are
yeah,
a
those
collection of wraiths in the shape of a tiny human girl.
Also, love the name.
Yeah. But yeah, they are a collection of wraiths that represent the many victims and possible origins of, well, sorry, not victims. They represent the many origins of Jack the Ripper, being that some people think that Jack the Ripper was actually just a whole bunch of kids that were murdering people in the streets and stealing their shit.
Mm. That just got attributed to a non-existent Jack the Ripper. And then there's the other Jack the Ripper, which is actually Jack the Ripper.
Yep.
Because
Time to inform Vin. I haven't fucking hired Vin to draw tomb shit. You're in fucking... Inform Vin of nothing. Die. Unless he wants to.
Not actually a fox girl, but she constantly wears... No, she definitely is a fox girl, and she grows them. They just vanish randomly. That's her actual, like, radiance, where she gets her wings. She just also gets the fox ears and tail.
But yeah, for
That's fine.
For the Vestige game, I'm working on basically a Kitsune Fox race for the northeastern country of Somnus.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Kieran Ludes when.
Once Vin finishes like the 11 pictures that I've currently got him working on. And then maybe not even then, because then I have another like 14 picture commission and one. Ugh!
Buddy, get on that. I don't know what it is you need to get, but do it.
What am I doing? What?
Alpha Omega Betason said, buddy, get on that. I don't know what it is you need to get on, but do it.
All right.
Get on that, buddy.
All right, I'll do it.
Get on
Whatever it is. Okay.
What was Caster's plan? Board, with all due respect, I am going to immediately say that I'm not going to start just talking about Fate.
It's not Fate cast point at 0.2.
I will answer this question and no others. Her plan was basically to amass enough resources to take out Berserker, and then basically do what Jack wants to do, or Jack insinuates he wants to do, which is just have the Grail infinitely generate mana, because she thinks she understands it well enough to do that.
Whose plan is this?
Medea.
UBW casters.
Oh, UBW.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, Medea.
Medea, yeah.
Oh
Her
my
plan
God.
was aligned enough.
Whenever I said Medea, and then you're like, and then you said UBW caster. I'm like, oh, UBW caster. I'm like, no, that's the same person, Cody. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Basically, she.
Fucking Cody.
Her plan was amass enough servants that the war can't actually end, and then just perpetually generate mana using the Grail to make it grant a lot of... Her plan wouldn't have worked. It was based off of an intricate but ultimately incorrect understanding of the Grail, plus she didn't know about the corruption. But yeah, the main crux of her plan was she was trying to amass enough resources to kill Berserker, because Berserker was the only thing really in Caster's way, sans Gilgamesh. But she didn't know about Gilgamesh.
There's a lot of shit in Fate that can't be accounted for.
Hard and,
well,
she gets gibbed hard in the Stay Night route.
Never before in Stay Night's timeline had there ever been a holdover servant from the previous war, so you can't really fault anybody for not looking for it.
Yeah.
Hey Logan, how are you?
Even if that
I'm
would have
good.
happened in any of the other wars, which it didn't, but even if it would have happened, 50 years usually is in between the wars.
Pathfinder has a Kitsune race if you want to modify for your purposes. I don't. I'm good. Thank you, though.
It also has a summoner class.
Cool.
Neat.
I want to play it one day.
Can
Never.
I just play
You can
a
never.
cat? Like a regular cat with 1 HP, because that sounds like total fun and definitely not just going to get obliterated session 1.
I'll be right back.
As I receive 2 damage and die by massive damage.
No, Aaron, because I can't have dogs and you're mean.
Yeah, it's true. Even
In
though
fact, I
you
can
do
totally
have them.
dogs and it's fine.
You can't have a dog using a mace, or sorry, a flail, because you can't.
Why can't I have a dog with a unique weapon, with a freaking unique weapon proficiency, huh?
Yes.
He just needs to be able to use a
I
flail.
believe your question answers itself.
Why can't I meme all the time?
This is bullshit.
I've seen plenty of dogs wielding flails. I've seen one dog wielding flails.
Wielding a string with a ball. Man.
I've seen plenty of one dog using a flail.
Can't you just give me Sif from Dark Souls?
Fucking yes! Can
Yeah.
I?
No.
Aw. No. No.
New information was brought to the table. Maybe that'll change his answer.
Listen, that would be badass.
It would be. It would be badass. Fuck it would also be even remotely reasonable if you were like, say, a level 18 to 20 character.
But if I become a level 18, 20 character,
Try looking around then, we'll talk. Make it that far and fuck it, because at that point you guys can rewrite the universe. So sure, having a giant...
Deco just makes a character with the sole goal of reaching that high a level to get a dog with the flag.
listen, Eric, I'll fucking do it. All right.
I know you will.
I will have my. I will be Artorias. All right. I will fucking do it.
Yep, I am being kind of unreasonable because he wants a dog. No, he wants a dog with a flail, not a greatsword. It's true. I'm a big bully. It's what I am. Aaron, freaking Nazi DM over here.
No bully,
It's true.
Aaron. No bully.
Notoriously awful. Awful to his players.
I'm glad you guys. I'm
Aaron
glad you guys
Robert
all
Parnell.
agree with me. I'm glad you guys
Did I
all
say
agree with me in the chat that Aaron is a bully. However, no one fucking calls Aaron a bully but me.
Fight
Fight me.
Yes.
cop between accepting support for trying to get a flail dog and not bullying Aaron.
See, I'm stuck between getting my flail dog and trying to smash Aaron. It's hard, all right? And
Aaron bullied Lancer. It's true. I gave him backstory things that make him sadder than he already is.
Just give the dog a thagomizer.
yeah,
Just give it the ass of a stegosaurus.
dude, yes.
Go to Schult and fucking perform genetic
I
experimentation.
want a chimera. I want a large chimera. It'll be. It'll have the head of a. It'll have the head of a wolf. It'll have the wings of a bat. It'll have the ass of a stegosaurus. The body of a hot chick. I'm kidding.
But, like, real size
Body of a
monster.
hot chick.
Artorias be? I mean, if we're trying to
Get out of
convert
here,
it,
Monster Musume.
the way I would go about something like that, because honestly, the real answer is wherever you want him to be. He existed within the Abyss, meaning I would say he's gone to the Abyss in whatever setting you're in. He served gods effectively directly, and he was one of 4 fabled knights. I'd put him around epic level play. So minimum, like he would be, I don't know, like CR 15 to CR 22.
I
Seems like a fun place to
I just
throw him.
want one thing, Aaron. A giant doggo wielding a flail.
In fact, honestly, you could probably get a good place for Artorias if you modify the Death Knight. If you really wanted to create something like that.
This goal is just going to keep expanding. Like,
I'm going to
I want
do
a
it.
dog with a flail.
Aaron,
I want a
I'm-
giant
Aaron.
dog with a flail.
Aaron, we have some things to talk about.
I
on
want
the
a giant
stream.
dog made of flails that
Aaron,
wants to
Aaron.
fuck a dragon.
Aaron, we have things
I
to
want a
talk
dog.
about after this stream.
I don't feel like you
You
did.
can have a dog. He has 2 dogs,
I
motherfucker.
know this is D&D, but are you guys ready for Devil May Cry 5? Yeah, man, I have it on pre-order. I want to do it for Let Them Play Games when it comes out.
Yeah.
I never played the previous Devil May Cry, so I have no interest.
I played 4.
You're a fool.
Did you guys,
And
did you guys
I
know
played
that? Do you
parts
guys know
of
that Dead or
3.
Alive and all of its Dead or Alive 6 and all of its content right now is like around $180?
Why?
The season
The
pass,
DLC?
yeah, for is like $92
more than the
American.
game.
Mm-hmm.
It's 102 for Canadians.
And that's the first season pass.
That's
There's a
number
1
one.
next to that season
For
pass.
what? For Dead or Alive?
yeah,
Dead or
for
Alive, Dead or
DOA.
Alive.
Yeah.
And I'm
Why?
like, first off, Dead or Alive is fucking awesome. I love that franchise.
Would
Is
you like
it?
1 character and a bunch of costumes?
Exactly. That's all you fucking get.
Yeah.
Aaron, which
For
Pokemon children do I love
$92.
the most? I mean, A, that's not fair. B, Maryland.
I like
Uh,
Ninja.
Like, what other answer was there going to be?
Devil May
Like,
5 Cry.
I love them all.
5 is
but
co-op.
Maryland.
Neat. But yeah, buddy, you should play Devil May Cry. 1, 3, and 4 are really good.
Okay.
It makes me think of, yeah, I think there was a list of games for bastards, I think is what it was called. And it was, are you friends with someone, but you kind of don't like them sometimes? Buy them one of these games to make them angry. And 2 was on there, along with Chrome Hounds, especially when Chrome Hounds came out for consoles. And, like, if you wanted to have, quote-unquote, the most fun, you had to buy a third-party controller that was basically the dashboard of a mech, and you had to learn how to pilot this fucking thing. And if you die ever in Chrome Hounds, like, let's say you're on the last boss of the last level of the campaign, and he kills you, you start at the beginning of the game.
Who's y'all's favorite
Shit
Digimon?
like that.
Hackmon.
I love Hackmon. He's my perfect boy.
He's a good boy.
And
What
I
was
also love
that?
Scratchmon.
Scratchmon's also great.
Scratchmon too cute.
I like a lot of the original Digimon Vin's made for us.
And Doraemon and Miss Doraemon, he's cute.
I think Magdalomon's probably my favorite one that Vin's made for us.
Freaking, you mean Babemon?
I do.
Yeah.
I like
babe?
I do. I also like Apocryphon, but Magdalomon is fucking super paladin.
I also love all the original Digimon that Vin has made for us, such as Angelwomon Noel mode.
You want to reverse that around?
Noelmon. McDowell. What?
Meh.
I still love that opening bit in the first session. I don't know why I remembered it so clearly, but it's just like as soon as Noelle introduces herself to the fucking Digimon that showed up, he's just like, Noelmon, what? Like, I love that little added bit there.
The necessary misunderstanding on the part of Digimon. Fucking just the obligatory, like, all right, let's do this now.
Hey Ron, how do you feel about evil Dorumon? He's a good boy.
When was Adorumon evil?
Sure, he was never Dorumon when he was an
when was any of Dorumon's evolutions evil? I don't recall that.
I mean, looking at him, he was doing things for Dorumon reasons, which, honestly, Oliver would support.
Indeed.
He dropped me 40 feet from the air.
And you were fine.
He dropped a child 40 feet from the.
I trust his judgment.
I also trust that judgment.
I love Dorumon. I feel bad that I had to be the one to fucking take him down.
I don't remember what Logan called Hackmon's baby form. Swimon. Like a swipe.
I love.
Swimon. And then Scratchmon.
I love.
Then
He gonna
Hackmon.
swipe you.
Gonna swipe it. Gonna swipe.
What's he gonna swipe with though? He doesn't have arms.
Pseudo child.
How dare you?
So evil Oliver? Sure, I guess.
If Oliver goes evil, if Oliver is like the Digimon Emperor of our group, Noel's just gonna punch him. If he's not evil, Noel's just gonna punch him.
This fucking Oliver has like a fucking.
It doesn't matter what alignment he is. I'm gonna punch him.
Literally,
Well, fucking punch
like,
him.
If it came to a Grapple contest and somehow magically acrobatics were not available to Oliver, he would be physically unable to beat you in an athletics check.
I'll take an 18.
Neat.
Because yeah, even with a nat 20, he has a -3 modifier, so it would be a 17. I guess if he took proficiency in it somehow, that'd be the only way. No. In real life, yeah, he's just sitting there being like, yeah, all my friends are missing. I'm just gonna play Halo.
Who has Black Agumon? Raymond does.
You guys sub to Pewds yet? I've never subbed to Pewds.
Nope.
But I also want
I
subs
enjoy
to
Raymond.
series.
I was subbed to Pewds once upon a time when I lived on PEI, back around when he started doing Happy Wheels videos, and I was subbed for like 4 months and then stopped. That was my relationship with PewDiePie.
I'm neutral as butts to him. I don't much care for the race between him and T-Series. I think it's
funny.
Are fantastic. I think it's a fun meme. I think everyone's having a lot of fun, so I ain't gonna shit on that parade. But I will do my part by subbing to neither.
I don't care about PewDiePie's content. I do respect him as a content creator. I think he's very smart. I think he knows his brand, and I appreciate the amount of leverage that he's come to hold on YouTube. But yeah, I don't care about watching his shit. And I could care less if he was the #1 subscribed YouTuber. I don't even know what T-Series is. What is T-Series?
It's an Indian
channel. It's
Indian channel
it's like Indian machinima. It's the best way I guess.
It's kind of Indian machinima. It's also the fact that every person who buys a phone or some sort of thing that connects to the internet in India is automatically subscribed to T-Series.
Oh, that's cheating.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
That's really fucked up.
I didn't know. About 1 billion something people, so
yeah, they're one of the highest populated countries in the world,
that's
which is why they're the only competing channel for views.
That's why people are upset over the whole thing with PewDiePie and T-Series.
Yeah. That'd be like if the most subscribed channel on YouTube was like Justin Bieber, like Vivo. It's like, yeah, cool. A corporate owned like music account that
I actually subs people
couldn't even finish the fucking sentence.
No, because I have nothing against the Vivo accounts, but it is like they're not accounts. No one lovingly runs them.
No, they're just there to put music videos on.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched that fucking new JonTron video, and I totally missed Todrick Hall's fucking airline like dance at party, fucking crazy shit for Virgin Airlines.
What?
Yeah.
JonTron did like a work safety video.
I saw that
thing, and he briefly mentions my favorite's always going to be Todrick Hall's, and it's like an airline like, here's how you buckle your seatbelt, here's the safety thing, but it's this huge fucking musical number with all these YouTubers in it, and it's like over the top fun. It's really silly and it's a good time. I watched it afterward and I was like, this happened in 2013. I missed the shit out of this. This is awesome.
Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
Think about this. You were alive this morning.
It's true.
Now you're part of a mattress.
And more people weren't alive this morning than were.
Hooray!
Raymond was the most annoying character when he said, "Don't treat me special," when he was refusing to go out. Wanted so bad. How is that? Why? Did Stinklaw. Raymond was the most annoying character when he said, "Don't treat me special," when he was refusing to go out. I wanted so bad to yell at his face that he should get off his dead ass and work like the rest of the characters. Why? What obligation did he have?
I liked his dinosaur.
He's a little Agumon.
Just,
Agumon.
it's a weird insinuation. Like, you have a Digimon. You are obligated to risk your life.
Fucking.
It awakened Noel's love of dinosaurs, and I loved it.
Isn't he also like 14 or 15?
Yeah.
Why do you think Hunter sat out? Or tried to sit out, at least. At the very end.
Till he realized he fucked up royally.
Hunter, you should realize, I'll protect you.
If you
I jumped onto a dragon for you.
If you removed enough people from the equation, fucking Oliver would have basically done the same thing.
Raymond, if you don't go out and fucking risk your life, we're gonna report you to the Digimon police.
Yeah, like if Noel and Sharon weren't there to force him to do shit, and enough of the Smoles weren't there to make him feel responsible for shit, Oliver would have been like, I'm gonna pet this Doraemon and fuck off. I'm gonna go to the grocery store and just eat everything there because no one can stop me. Go fight things? No, fuck you. Are you kidding me?
I feel like
That's dangerous. I'm a child.
I feel like if this was like an actual series or like an actual like anime or whatever, that the first like quote unquote like arc or like the first like part of the episodes would have literally just been try to convince all the kids not to just loot everything.
Although eventually we also noticed what isn't stuff being replaced after we removed it, like it's kind of not actually what it was.
Stuff that came from the real world, yeah. We didn't like dote on it very much afterwards, but like stuff that you stopped interacting with that you took from places would like no longer be around you, and if you like went into a store, stole stuff, left, came back, the stuff would be there again.
The perfect
Respawned.
diet.
Like everything from the human world was
Perfect crime.
pretty much in a state of like quantum uncertainty.
Yep. So yeah, Oliver would have no guilt about that, and especially fucking Oliver. Oliver, the weird person who should be in a fucking hospital given the amount of negatives he has in stats. Like until I took a fucking ability point upgrade, I was negative in con. I have a -3 to strength. I had a negative to charisma. I had I'm pretty sure I had a negative to wisdom. I'm not 100%. I think my positives were dex and intelligence.
What if the nuke actually worked? The nuke did work.
It destroyed a bunch of things.
It's just that Kay saw that the nuke was fucking
Gonna
gonna take out the forces, and Kay was like, you know what, Growlmon, we're gonna take one for the team here. Because despite the fact that Kay has done a lot of morally unsound things, she's not a complete monster.
Nah, she's a monster. She's a villain who needed to be stopped.
She is like the
She
definition
doesn't need
of
to be
neutral
stopped.
evil.
She doesn't.
Not
need to be
even,
stopped.
actually,
She
that's
needs
not
to
true.
She needs to be Digimon to our side.
She's probably
What
more.
that means is she needs to be punched.
Kay is Bay though. Yeah, man.
I thought she was be like
So
neutral
far.
good. Like she does things for what she perceives as the greater good.
She is very much Satsuki from Kill la Kill.
It literally because it just comes down to she needs to keep all of her ideas, all of her ideals, and everything else about her, and the party just needs to go up, and someone needs to go punch, and then she's like, "I'm on your side now."
It's coming
Thanks,
from
Dad.
Wow.
It's coming from,
I can't
like,
believe how easy that was.
like nobody should side with or agree with Kay, but what Kay does and what Kay thinks are, I hope I got across
She's
by the
an
end of the
antagonist,
campaign,
not a
very
villain.
different.
Right?
Hmm?
She's an antagonist, not a villain.
Yeah. I mean, her main thing, as she talked about at the end, was she doesn't believe that you guys have the resources necessary to stand up to the AOA. She believes that the AOA winning is the quickest way for her to complete what she wants to do. But as soon as you guys started awakening your emblems, she went out of her way to put you in situations that would awaken them because she wanted to cultivate a group that could stand up to the AOA. She's just not willing to take the risk, basically, because... Spoiler! Actually, no, it did come up in game. She was part of a different group of kids that went to the digital world. And, the rest of them aren't around because the AOA.
She has an arm full of fucking digivices now.
Yeah, man. That's why she can fucking... I mean, I'm full disclosure, and I don't know if I talked about this in-game. There was like 6 or 7 of them originally. Like 4 of them were taken down by the AOA. The other ones were taken down by Kay, because she saw what was going on, and she opted to defeat and send the other ones back to the human world herself, rather than have them go through anything with the AOA. That's how
Kay
she...
is cute, and every time Logan plays Veloci, I think of that being a protagonist version of her.
I feel like they're very different people. I feel like
Yeah.
Veloci and Kay are in 2 different dimensions intellectually.
Yeah.
Deco used to say that, but remember that Raymond punched Kay in the finale. I love Kay. I also loved having Raymond
Yeah, but
punch
Raymond
Kay.
wasn't a main character. He's not a... Okay, Raymond is a glorified side character, and we all love him. Mostly his dinosaur.
Kay
But
technically-
it doesn't work unless a player character / main character punches them in the face. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
That's how Digimon works. That's how anime works.
It's true.
This is America, Canada.
This is American Canada.
This is freaking... What we say, like, San Francisco?
Yeah, something like that.
Lockton, but yeah.
I wasn't gonna correct him. I was just gonna let him know, because no matter what I said, he would say that.
San Vancouver.
Like
You
no
know,
one
I had a
actually
part
know
in
the name of the
creating
town.
San Vancouver, and I apologize, but San Vancouver is awesome.
Does Oliver still have his Digivice? Cheat sheet. Digivice does not have a hyphen, and there's a C, not an S. But his D-Spectre, who knows, man?
Who could truly say?
I do.
Who could possibly he does? Yes, actually. Because
yeah, I feel like
he
I
was-
think that was established.
They were sending messages
Logan,
between the 2
Logan,
worlds.
are there any wish-granting Digimon?
I forgot about that. I wanted to be coy about it.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, it's a.
Wish granting Digimon? I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of like god tier Digimon that could probably interfere with reality in a way that would resemble wish granting.
Cool. I'm gonna go find one.
Like Azulongmon or any of the
I'm
sovereigns.
gonna go find a Zulonmon.
Azulongmon.
I'm gonna find a Zubatmon.
Or so.
I love
If I
Zubat.
find a Zulonmon, he's gonna be
Did
like,
I
"What
just
do you
do
want,
that?
Noel?" And
Of
it's
course
like,
I did. Oh, I'm shocked at myself for what I just did.
What?
What?
I called him Azulongmon. Which I
Gonna
should
go
have said.
find
I should have said
Azulongmon.
Quinlongmon.
Gonna find a Zulonmon. Gonna be there. He's gonna be like, "Noel, what do you want?" I'm like, "I want Oliver." And then Oliver shows up in front of me, and then I go to him, and he's like, "Oh," and he's like, look, he like goes for a hug, and then I tackle him, and I punch him in the face, and I continue to punch him.
He just kept being a bratty kid who was also kept saying he didn't want to be treated special while the other kids around him were working toward their goal of leaving, which he also wanted to do. Maybe I just hate being the one who did all the work while the whiny kid does nothing and reaps the reward of the assignment. Okay, there's a few things there that are incorrect, though. He wasn't reaping any rewards. He actually told the others they also shouldn't do what they were doing because he didn't think it would go anywhere.
We showed him.
He wasn't proposing that he knew better than them, and he also didn't have a solution, nor did he propose that he had any way of getting back. You're acting like, that assumption very much comes from him being like, hey, you guys go do this, and if you find a way out, tell me. Which wasn't what he said. He was very, I'm gonna wait and see if something emerges.
And he did eventually do something. Like, again, he did eventually work with us when he found something he could do.
Yeah, that's,
Like, one of the biggest like differentiations between me and my character ever is that Noel actually really likes Raymond, and I'm neutral to Raymond. I still think he's gonna be a villain.
I also wouldn't really call him whiny, because he didn't really make it anyone's problem. He only really responded with his reasons when people tried to force him to do anything. He didn't actively go like, hey guys, so I'm not gonna do anything. Also, here's a list of reasons why I think you're stupid and I'm right. It was, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm gonna stay here where it's safe. And not die. And yeah,
Also in the meta, having an NPC in the party, like another one, is just.
I like
kind of
your
redundant.
dinosaur.
fucking, and yeah, fucking, okay, so does Noel still have Oliver's phone? Did Noel ever have Oliver's phone?
Oliver's
'cause we
phone
gave
got
it to
given
Shoutmon.
to Shoutmon.
Right.
Oh, no, I think
right.
he said it disappeared. He said that Oliver's phone disappeared, didn't he?
I thought when we went to get everything, he gave it back.
Yeah, it was still there.
Yeah,
Um,
so I do have his phone. It's just, what's I gonna do?
As Cyan points out, yeah, also, whenever the party had actual reasonable things they wanted to do, Raymond was willing to do them.
Yeah, 100%. Dude, whenever we needed to like go and check on the baby Digimon and stuff, he's like, I will do the thing that is.
Yep.
Like when we found things for him to do that wasn't immediately him putting himself in danger, he would do it. Like eventually it put him in danger, but he's, whatever. Sucks to suck, Raymond.
Sucks to suck.
Why does Noel like Raymond again? Why does Noel like Raymond?
Noel likes Raymond because Raymond is basically, again, Raymond is a younger kid in the party, which means that Noel wants to protect. She likes how Raymond sticks to his guns, I think, is the main thing. Because, like, again, nothing Noel would say to him would get him to do anything, and I guess she kind of respects that. It's like, I can't intimidate you to do what I want you to do. Good on you, kid.
Yeah.
And, like, again, like, he has a dinosaur, automatic points right there. And again,
As you say
when
that,
push
say
came
in
to
comments,
shove-
also because Raymond has a dinosaur.
When push came to shove, Raymond did do stuff to help the party. He wasn't just someone who sat down and did nothing. Whenever he thought he could do something, he did it. So Noel likes Raymond. I think Noel is very happy with Raymond and the entire outcome of what happened there, where Raymond came in to help them at the very end. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Him not tagging along
Also,
with us everywhere
he
makes
has
that
a
awesome
big
comeback.
dinosaur.
He has a big dinosaur.
Yeah. Fucking huge one.
If you have a dinosaur, that automatically gives you like 12 points, somewhere between 12 and 100 points
You
for
get
Noel.
12 Noel points.
12 Noel points.
Somewhere between 12 and 100 Noel.
I think I talked to you guys a while back about the changes to spellcasting that'll happen when we go back to Digimon, right?
You talked about one thing that I'm really interested in knowing if you're still gonna do.
First of all, the level fucking lowering thing. That's still in effect. But again, that's not. I wouldn't take that as a big deal because it's kind of like obviously things will also be adjusted to match that. So
yeah.
What's happening?
Oh, there was a few changes that once we finished the first campaign, I kind of sat down and I was like, okay, critical analysis of the mechanics time. The main thing is D points. Well, I liked it, and it's basically just a variant of spell points. I think among everything else, D points left things open to too much prep in that, like when you guys took rests, you had to expend HD, and we basically had to spend like 30 minutes at a time being like, okay, what are you doing? So the way that's changing is D points are still basically going to be used for digivolving. When you guys decide to digivolve, you can at that moment roll HD until you hit the number you need. But for actual spells, I'm reintroducing spell slots, so you all just have spell slots now.
Hooray!
However, for at higher level effects, you can use D points.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
And again, those will be rolled literally like on the spot. Like if you're like, I want to cast Healing Word and I want to cast it at higher level, you could be like, I'm going to roll 2 HD, and then you could apply however many D points you get from that to it, and then whatever's remains that you don't use disappear. Like, there will be no lingering D points that you guys have to like internally delegate what you want to do with. They're a resource that will be generated when they're needed and then vanish.
You have mentioned a long time ago, Logan, and again, I'm not holding you to this. It sounded cool when you mentioned it, and if you have decided to change it, that's perfectly fine. Are you going to be introducing any sort of like class and/or thing for the player characters?
That's actually the thing I'm looking at, been looking at recently, because we're at a point in the Fate campaign where we're pretty much in the descent at this point. Like a lot of stuff's been established. We're very much kind of. I would compare it to in Digimon when you guys beat Strike Dramon, where I was like, okay, I know that everything else from this point on is just using established information to end the campaign. You guys are pretty much there in Fate, so I've been turning my attention towards Digimon. I do want to establish that starting at level 10 for you guys, and if we ever do other Digimon stuff, it'll be earlier, but for you guys, starting at level 10, I want to introduce archetypes for the kids. So you can branch out and specialize in like what kind of spells you want to learn. Probably introduce like unique spell lists based off them, or superiority die style actions you can have your Digimon do. That kind of thing.
Hell yeah.
Just to...
Or better punching?
Oh yeah, that's another thing. You know how the improved D-Specters gave you guys the ability to make a bonus attack as kids?
Mm-hmm.
I consulted my own feelings and also talked to some other people, and a couple of people came to me, and I decided that that will not be the case. If the kid makes an attack on their own, then they'll have multi-attack, but they will not get a bonus attack because that's sort of the whole point of the shared turn system was to reduce the amount of actions going on in a single round. So I'm taking that away because that kind of spat in the face of the point of the shared turn thing. So basically, as a kid, your attacks are better if you need to make an attack as a kid and you have multiple attacks, but if your Digimon makes their action, then you can't bonus action attack. That said...
Can we still use Digimon's bonus actions?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Then I'm good.
The only thing that changes is that the D-Specters will, in fact, not give you the additional attack. How would you turn Logan, how would you turn Final Fantasy into a D&D module? That's actually one of the easier things. Like, pretty much you just need to work out guns, and depending on the setting, maybe make materia, which I've actually done, but Final Fantasy translates...
Wanting to do something like that.
Yeah, that's because I was bored and on vacation, I think, and I wanted to make something.
Final Fantasy translates well, and since it's already an RPG, it's converting weapon and figuring out your die systems.
Yep.
Leveling up a la Final Fantasy probably wouldn't be as much of a thing. You wouldn't be hitting weird levels like level 60. You'd be...
Well, I think anything made into a module assumes D&D's pacing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Final Fantasy 1 is literally a D&D campaign. I don't disagree. I think you could just run Final Fantasy 1 in D&D, because, like, all the classes are just, like, things that exist in D&D. The
Red
fucking
Mage is just a gish.
the goddamn the quests in Final Fantasy 1 are things like find the rat's tail for Bahamut. That's just a thing that you can do. Like, you don't really need to make a unique system for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Making something like Final Fantasy 13 would be a bit more eccentric.
Yeah, 13, 15,
Yeah.
10, 7, like those ones would.
Yeah, there might not be enough
hallways.
hallways in D&D for that.
Do you have experience with I mean, we'd only need one. Do you have experience with other rule systems? Yeah. I mean, I haven't played a lot extensively, but all of us know the basics of at least a few other systems we could play.
Yeah, I got the Keeper's book for Call of Cthulhu beside me right now.
Yeah. Fate Core.
I know how to run a Dragon Strike game.
Fate Core, DCC, Dungeon World, heckin' 13th Age.
Technically, all of us could run GURPS.
Heck yeah.
GURPS is so modular that really you'd be like, all I want is the D20. All right, roll a 20. How do I feel about it? There, you're still technically within the limits of GURPS. I mean, it has way more to it than that, but if that's what you want it to be, that's what it is.
Okay.
It is more plug and play than 5th edition, which I think good, but it's also why it's okay at everything, but not good at anything specific.
What does Bahamut need with the rat's
I ran
tail?
a very
I don't
small,
know, man.
I ran a very small 4th edition campaign once, which was pretty fun.
How was
only
that?
like 2 or 3 it was
I've
only
never
like 2 or
actually
3 games,
played
though.
4th edition.
I've only played once,
pretty
and
fun.
that was my first game
I
ever.
just like the idea of giving players like cards for all of their actions and stuff.
Mhm.
It's just
Have you
a
heard
neat
of
game.
Kamigakiri? I actually have the translation of that pre-ordered. I'd like to learn it and possibly run it once it's released. Indeed.
I want
Fourth
to play the
edition.
Waterdeep campaign.
Fourth edition turns
What
take
are you,
way too
Dragon
long.
Heist?
Do they?
Yeah.
Deco, in your experience with 4th edition, do turns take a long time?
Not really. Like, again, it felt like people were much more able to like pick what they wanted to do by having those cards and just be like, it's like, oh, it's like, what are you doing on this turn? Searing Strike or something. Pow! Throw it onto the ground. It's just like it's better than like, should I do a spell or should I attack? When it's like you're just like, oh, my attacks are basically spells now. Yeah, fuck that. Let's do that.
Yeah, you have like encounter-based abilities.
It was actually very fast paced, like especially compared to like 3.5.
I couldn't say the same from my experience with it, but I only ever played the one game, and it was everyone, including the Dungeon Masters first. So I also don't feel like it properly reflects how 4th edition should be played.
Yeah, I've never played with a with like a new Dungeon Master in 4.
My
I
first
was a new
game-
Dungeon Master for like that 3-game period that I ran the game. In which everybody died, so take that as a grain of salt. But my DM that I had for it, I had 2 DMs. One of them Logan is familiar with. One of them was somebody from the it wasn't like an adventures guild. It wasn't like that kind of thing. It was a public setting thing, and he ran it like fucking snap, 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 snap. It's like, what do you do? It's like, I cast this. All right, what do you do? I cast this. It's like, all right, what do you do?
Okay.
It was very fast paced, like in my opinion.
Yeah, my experience with it, we had one combat encounter, and it was like 4 hours, but that's because no one knew what they were doing, and I don't think the DM at that point understood the concept of things like armor class. So when someone was confused, it was let's look it up. But we ended up having like 3 social encounters and 1 combat encounter over a like 7-hour game.
Ugh.
I remember again that campaign that I'm talking about, the one that was like in like the public-y setting. Like, I remember that one so clearly as the first time I ever basically RP made out with somebody while looking at them in real life.
Oh yeah.
It was weird, but it was cool.
I wish
It's just like, do our characters make out? Yeah, they make out.
I feel like
Describe it.
I feel like I became numb to improv making out during our improv days. Thanks, fucking
Graham just grabbing you and throwing you behind something.
so many times in scenes.
We actually had gotten up because it was in a game store. We'd actually like the two of us actually had got up, went around the corner, and then came back around the other side of the corner and sat back down.
Back when we used to do improv, like every week, at the theater, fucking at least like once a show, it seemed like at least once every 2 shows I was in with a guy named Graham. He would always find a way to make out with to improv make out with me while we were performing.
Yep.
It just
True
became,
facts.
Did he improv tongue?
No.
Damn.
The first and he was fucking aggressive about it. It would normally catch me off
again,
guard.
Like when I say throw Logan behind something, there's literally a specific one. I wasn't in the cast for that show, but I was on camera that day, and I was recording everybody, and I think it was a space improv thing you guys were doing, but somehow he turned you guys in spacesuits into making out, and we had a single block that we could like stand on top of to change height in a scene or move behind. He just like basically threw the both of them behind it. So just no one could see them, and that was the end of the scene. It was just them being like, yeah, making out /
I'd like to point out this isn't a complaint. That was just how it was.
Yeah, that's just the name of the game with Greg was.
Yep.
All right, when's this turning gay? Because this is going to be
what it was.
It's going to happen. We don't know when, but at one point in the show, for at least one scene, something's turning 90% more gay.
Well,
For Deco, I noticed that when you DM, you tend to have a conversation and contrast Logan, who's more descriptive. What's your mindset when you're a DM? Logan's a better DM than me. That's my mindset.
That's I don't like that statement.
Again, I was playing around. You're far more prepared and descriptive than me, I think. Like I actually do feel that. It's something that I feel like is kind of weak on my side.
I just don't like anyone being like, you're a better DM than me.
I was playing around.
I don't know how to process it. I don't like it because basically being a good DM to me is just like, are your players having fun? Then you're a good DM.
The games are very different, and basically, yeah, if people are having fun, who gives a fuck?
I think there's 2 observable metrics that you can like judge a DM by. There's streaming culture, and there's the actual table. There's like people look at Matt Mercer, and a lot of people could justifiably be like, he is the best DM ever because the table is so engaging and whatnot. And they wouldn't be like objectively correct, but like the table's clearly having fun, and you can be entertained as if you were to watch it. But there are some DMs that maybe aren't as flamboyant, and like they aren't as like prepared, they don't do as many voices, but their players really like how they do games, and so like at the table they're having fun. And I think that is just as important, because
a
lot of players could have a Matt and not enjoy the game just for reasons unrelated to Matt.
Chris Perkins is a great example of that. He kind of has a problem I think I've shared, which is his voice isn't super engaging. It's really relaxing. So I have a lot of people like that come in my streams. They're like, I'm gonna fall asleep, and I'm playing a shooter. Oh,
I mean, Perkins, he's the one that does the Strahd fucking stuff.
Yeah, he does Chris Strahd with Death Camera Action.
I actually I love him as a DM because he is fun, and he knows what he's talking about. But as a performer, like his mic is bad. Pretty much everything he says is always like right here. Like all of his characters are kind of this with different levels of Romanian accents. Like that's what he is in Strahd. But he's engaging because he's into it and his players are into it.
He's having fun. They clearly don't give a fuck. They're having a blast. So there's absolutely no issues. Exactly what they needed.
Dodd says, I've never fallen asleep to Aaron's stream. Fuck, I have.
Ryan,
yeah,
I don't like statements like that personally.
Yeah, let's not do any comparisons.
That's not what we're here to do. Thanks.
Yeah. Let's not do any comparisons. It's basically, again, like Logan says, whenever people are having fun, who cares? It's just whatever suits the crowd of people that you're DMing for.
Yeah. I guess, but also like the tone of our games is radically different. There's so many fucking
100%
things that go into shit. I don't know. It's like improv. It's like there are ways you can be like, that improviser's better than that improviser, but it's like, but that doesn't mean that they're more fun. That doesn't mean, like, there's so many different ways you gauge these things. But I don't know. It's like, I don't know, fucking. You've occasionally insinuated the same thing, buddy, and I do not care for it.
What has Buddy insinuated? Let's lynch him.
There's just been times that I've we've talked about quality of DMs regarding like me and the other Nat19 people, and he's like, "You've made underhanded comments regarding yourself, and I don't agree with them."
See, me and Buddy are like enigmas to each other though, because neither of us have seen the other one DM.
That's true.
So we have to think about it, and because everybody who DMs games, like, they think about how best to kill the other DM. So like, we all think about that. So
How true.
so when it comes to me and Buddy, we're like wild cards at each other.
I really like Deco's
Like,
off the
I
cuff
could
attitude.
think
and I
about
like
killing
that.
him one way.
There you
but
go.
what if he's prepared?
See, that's the kind of framing for these kind of things I like better. Like what GameHog just said. Like, I like Deco's off-the-cuff attitude, and I like Logan's world building and settings. I don't believe that when you compliment one person, you have to frame it as someone else is inferior. That's actually something I really dislike in the abridged community with commenters, of being like, I like this person. They do this better than them. And it's like, you could have stopped halfway through there.
Yeah, and like fucking especially like old abridged. I'm not sure if abridged comments still do this, but like old abridged comments where it's like, from you're doing a completely different show, and they're like fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged is better or something, and it's like, well, fucking yeah.
Thanks.
No, that's totally right.
It's like,
Fuck
fucking,
off, though.
I really like this Bleach Abridged, but like, they're no, like, are they just ripping off Team 4-Star? And it's like, no, what? I don't... I also dislike it when people...
Stuff like that.
I also dislike it when people compliment me by putting down other people. Like, a bunch of other people do UBW. Very early on, I made a point of discouraging it when people would be like, oh, I love this UBW, it's so much better than the others. I would very much be like, hey, you could have stopped at that comma. Like, you don't have to, I don't need to hear that I'm better than other people. That doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, it's kind of like a long time ago. Like, you remember the Doctor, right? I keep bringing this guy up.
Not Dr. Applejuice. I was fucking
the Doctor.
Yeah, I remember the Doctor.
He was doing the same series as me, and he always used to get kind of upset because people on my thing would go to his channel accidentally and be like, "This is really changed" or something like that, or said something like off-putting to him. And I felt really bad about it because I couldn't stop it from happening. So like, people would be like going to him and saying like that mine was better. People coming from his saying his was better because like they'd see the stuff on his and it'd feel like I was attacking him or something. I'm like, I don't have nothing to do with this. Me and him are friends. People, freaking Logan keeps calling me Doc for some reason.
Let's see. Is it wrong to say the abridged community is really hard to get into? I mean, no, but like any community that's been around for a long time, like, get into, I assume you mean like become part of like the well-known circles within it. It is just by the nature of how things work, hard to get into them. Let's just...
It's not hard to do stuff for it, like,
No.
definitely not. Like, you got a decent mic, you got footage, there you go. Go at it.
It's just a matter
But
of
you
like...
can't really,
The people that you would call the abridged community are the people that have been around long enough or proven themselves to some degree. Because there's a lot of other circles. Like, we tend to be in, like, the schmuck project mouthwash something witty circle. That tends to be where we all sort of... We're in the overlap there. There are other groups. We just don't really hang out with them. And, like, that they're not less valid. They're just, I think, not quite what you see. Like, Team 4-Stars are kind of off being their own thing. We interact with them frequently enough, but, like, they're not part of our circle, really. The advanced lip flap techniques are rather hard to learn. I was getting them, and then I told Aaron to do them. I actually do think about that sometime. I very much was on the cusp of being like, I think I figured this out. Aaron, that's your job now.
They're not that hard. They're just time consuming.
I was a lot of my early stuff. Get like back when it was like getting 3 episodes done a month. Efficiency and like getting things done quickly was very much on my mind. So I had a very good enough mindset about lip flaps that I shouldn't have. It was
I was
around.
just always too lazy.
Are the lines there? Good.
Yeah. I think I started to take notice when somebody in one episode, I don't think that it looked this bad, but somebody thought that I just looped footage of them talking on top of it. It was like, I don't, but the fact that even one person could think that that's what I did means I need to put more effort into this. And then I did. And then Aaron got paid. And now he does it. And you do it for Inuyasha.
Now he does.
How's Inuyasha Bridge coming along? It's actually real close to done.
It's real close, man.
2 scenes.
All my parts are done.
Yep.
And it's in Logan's hands now.
2 scenes need sound effects. Is it 2 or is it 3? One sec, I'm gonna check my schedule.
Quick animal facts. Most coyotes are illiterate.
So 2 scenes need sound effects, and sound design, which is on me. And then I need to make the opening and ending stinger, and then Buddy needs to make a end card. Though you guys probably won't see it for a while unless you're a patron, because we want to make a bunch of episodes before we release any. But if you're a patron, you'll see it. Also, if we get a panel and you go to SakuraCon, then we're going to show the first episode there.
Will
Heck
I
yeah.
see it?
No.
Who knows?
Darn.
Fuck you, Deco.
The schmuck witty wash. Although, to be
Is
fair...
this how you're gonna kill me, buddy?
To be fair...
I'm in.
If we talk about, like, our streaming circles, the schmucks aren't necessarily a big overlap with it, because, like, I think of, like, you and Coffin kind of represent the schmucks, but Coffin is also something witty, and your Project Mouthwash. So really, there's just, like, this something witty Project Mouthwash overlap. And then also, Eric and Brett and Deco are here.
Also these weird outsiders.
I
You
got
guys
it.
are all
I got
nebulous
it.
contractors.
Me, Eric, and Brett need to make a group now.
Yeah, man.
We're
What
called.
would
We're
that
called.
be
Hold on. We're called the Indispensables.
I'm Spencer.
I feel like the schmucks are their own circle, with a bunch
Clearly,
of
your team
sub-circles.
is Blue Bread VA.
What?
Yeah, Blue Bread VA. There we go. We did it.
Perfect.
Yeah, man.
You did it.
Everyone needs more.
Or Summoner Britterson VA.
Get your tickets.
There we go.
Or Eric Blue Britterson.
Do it.
Oh yeah.
Oh. We're still waiting back, by the way, people, to see if, well, at least Project Mouthwash hasn't heard back about if they're getting a panel. As of today, I don't know if the other groups have heard anything.
Get your tickets to SoccerCon. Alquam still has my family.
Hey, buddy, have you heard anything from the schmuck side of things about if they know if they're getting a panel?
No, I have not.
Okay. And Coffin would know in both cases, but he's not
So
here.
random question.
Eric.
Logan's opinion on Fate Go not changed all that much.
Eric. What? Wait, we need to.
Where's that question?
Real Gamer 940. Random question. Started to watch the entire series. On part 7, you were criticizing.
Well,
Fate Go.
if in part 7 I was criticizing Go, my opinion of it has become that I hate it more than I did then.
Well, there you go.
Can that just be our group name, Eric?
As Go continues
Can our group
onward,
name be the It Griers?
it becomes a larger dumpster fire.
A larger dumpster fire that emits ash made of money,
Yep.
but a dumpster fire nonetheless.
It's a very pretty dumpster fire.
Filled
I
with
love pretty
babes
dumpster fires.
and husbandos.
I actually had a thing on Twitter.
They
that I
got
posted.
lolly here and there.
I posted on Twitter the other week about my annoyance about how when you tell any Go fan that you don't like it, they're like, "Oh, just wait till you get to
Sorry,
Camelot." It's like,
responding
are you
to you.
assuming I don't know what happens after Camelot? Are you? It's such a weird straw man. It's like, oh, they don't like it. They must just not know.
Yeah. It's what was it? You're like, as if it's impossible to not like the series after that, and then Air responded with guilty, and you're like, I will cut you.
I responded with a fucking gif that said stop.
Yeah.
Someone like tapping a stop sign.
Will there be a horror RP part 2? I've actually figured out what to do about that. So this year I might be able to do it if I can get everybody together.
I'm up for it.
Yeah. I last year I was very much like kind of psyching myself out.
It's true. I talked to him during that period.
I was basically psyching myself out for it, but I figured out a very much more reasonable way of doing things. So, yeah, definitely.
Cool. Wait. Horror RP. The Return of Lucky Benny.
Will he get lucky?
He's
this
become
time?
more somber. He's now just Serendipitous Benny. Serendipitous Benjamin. To be fair, some people actually don't know. I get that, but the assumption that if you hear you don't like this thing, being, instead of addressing their complaints, being like, they must just not be far enough in, because it's impossible that they don't like it as a whole.
I think it's especially in the case of you, where you're like, I don't like it, and here's why. And they're like, have you got past Camelot? You're like, that doesn't address why I don't like it.
actively complain about Lancer Artoria. Clearly I've been to Camelot. Fuck!
Hey man, you got further than me then.
I consider Tiamat's draconic designs to be a massive waste of space. Why did we have to have a fucking... Why did Tiamat, when she becomes this, like, fucking giant monster, have to still look like a woman bent over, but with a dragon head? Why can't we have just, like, a fucking eldritch draconic abomination that would look fucking cool? The dragon bits look really neat! The rest is just a giant woman! Fuck you, Go!
All I wanna be.
St. Martha
Yeah,
looks pretty cool.
It's, Fate Go is,
She has a giraffe.
in my much more naive opinion, but I believe it is a void that is designed to extract money from weebs.
You're not wrong.
And not much more than... I don't think it's a bad thing, but I wouldn't put money into it. And most people are like, I like it, have put money into it, from the sounds of it. That game makes millions per day, and it does it well. But I don't like the concept of a lot of gacha systems. Like, I
Not
don't
only
buy
that,
some
it kind of
Apex.
does gotcha. It kind of does gotcha wrong, where literally, from what I remember, unless they've changed it, it took you like $30 to have like one like good like 10 spin with that game.
Yeah, it was something. Well, I think that with $30 you get like 2 or 3. It's designed to be so you can navigate it. Like banners come up where the likelihood of certain servants is higher, and there's a lot of events and stuff. It's just the implication.
Much
And I
like
still have
in
it installed. I'll
how...
fucking check right now.
So currently, behind the paywall of the $100 DLC for DOA 6, there is one of the characters who is a girl, and a cute one. And if you want to play the cute girl, you got to give them $100.
Hell yeah, I'll do it. Take my
And
money.
you also unlock 26 wedding outfits, I believe, for all the characters in the game. Not individually, just overall.
Guys, we have
so
a new
you
stream
can
goal.
Dress them all up for weddings, along with the original $80 price of the game. And they're doing that because they bank on the fact that some people are really going to want that character. And it's also the first season pass, which means there's probably other characters that aren't in the game, or other new characters that you might really be interested in playing, but you got to give them $100 if you want to play them.
Guys, we have a new stream goal. Get Crow to spend the maximum amount of money possible on Dead or Alive 6.
It's the
Is
same
that
idea
the
for
stream?
Fate Go.
You know what?
That's a new stream goal.
How much is the maximum amount of money?
I believe it's like 160 American, so it's probably like 180, 90 U.
Tell you what. Either this coming Thursday, or this coming this Nat19 game coming up, I will put up a donation goal that will be for that amount. And if we make it in that game, I will buy this game and I will play it entirely either on stream or for Let Them Play Games.
Ugh, no.
That's better.
Don't
That's
even-
better than,
don't
that's
even
better than what
support
I'm
that.
probably going to do.
Don't even support
I'm a
that.
big-
Why?
I'm a big
If I
fan of
abstain, will
love-
it go away? Will those practices change?
I really love
No,
Dead or
but
Alive. I
still.
fucking love all the systems with it, so I'm
Don't.
probably just going to get it.
I mean, I come from two places with that, which is, if you do, no. If everyone does, yes. So as long as everyone has the concept of, if I do it, it won't change, then it'll never change. But
Mimi-
that's
Mimi-
also thinking way too far ahead and expecting people to change.
I
which
agree
don't,
with you,
'cause
Mimi
I'm a cynic.
Mamina. I personally, they say they like Tomoe Gozen's design and Go, but they don't like that it's supposed to be Tomoe Gozen. Absolutely agree with you.
Yep.
In that specific case. About a lot of
you
things in it
very
too.
specifically.
Oh yeah, because I'm a huge fan of Tomoe Gozen. I completely agree that like that is an over like moeifying of what Tomoe Gozen should be, but at the same time, the design itself is way cute. The mentality of Go is that like if Stay Night had used it, fucking a Rider would have like 50% the cloth covering her that she has. We would have gotten Lancer Artoria, and Angra Mainyu would definitely have shown up, and the true perfect like dark form of the Grail probably would have been like a dark-skinned sexy woman. That would have been what it was. Like the Grail wouldn't have been this like tower with a sphere that like lets out the sins of mankind as a mud curse. It would have been like a giant statue of a scantily clad woman or something.
Will Let Them Play Games turn into Nat19? All Nat19 is backed up on Let Them Play Games. Let Them Play Games is not becoming Nat19.
Yeah, Nat19 is like affiliated with Let Them Play Games. It's like a subset of it, but I did talk about that. I brought it up with Carrie. I was like, do you think I should bring up with the guys that maybe Let Them Play Games should just become Nat19? But then she pretty quickly was like, nah, because like they're definitely different things.
Yeah, it'd be weird to be like, welcome back to Net19.
You're right.
Let's play.
All right. So I figured it out. With $23 right now, I'm pretty sure there's a limited time offer thing going on. So for $24, you can get 41 Saint Quartz on Go. It takes 30 Saint Quartz to do a 10 summon. So for $24, you can get 10 summon.
Yeah.
And there's all the other things you can talk about, the randomization of those things, which is meant to keep you away from the thing you actually want, so that way you'll keep spending money to get the thing you actually want, because you want that one rare cute version of a character, or you want like the new Caster Cuchulainn or whatever the fuck is out this time, and it's just so
I'd also like to fucking disclaimer, as I often do, that I complain about the over-sexualizing and over-waifuifying of Go, whereas a bunch of the designs I get from Vin are pretty fan-servicey. I would like to once again reinforce the distinction that I am not a multi-billion-dollar gacha game, and I am not charging anybody to see those pictures.
It's true.
I'm also not a franchise.
Wait, you're not a multi-billion-dollar gacha game? You've been lying to me all these fucking years.
I feel like another thing is people don't go on to other like, UBW or something and be like, now how does the Solar Shadow continuity work into this?
Yeah.
Wait, Musashi's a girl though. You guys,
Fuck
Musashi's
off, Aaron.
a girl.
Fuck off, Aaron.
Fucking that got me so riled.
I got one of those today. I got someone just be like, Musashi's a woman, to which I was just like, refer to pinned comment. Fucking. Especially because the Epic of Remnant stuff just came out, I'm expecting a lot of that to happen, and I'm just like, here it comes. Here comes people not being able to read.
The fact that they're committed enough that they're balls fucking deep in Go, like they're in there, they're in the thick of it. They owe like loan sharks money because they've been just huffing money into their waifus, but they're like, no, it's canon.
God King Sam, thank you for the 31 Canadian dollars. It sucks that you can't stay, but thank you.
Oh, have a good day.
I'm somewhat annoyed.
He's got busy doing godly and kingly things.
I feel like if Tanaka would have been in the actual Fate, he would have been summoned as a girl, and then it would have been revealed later on that he was actually Komichi.
Yeah. You are correct. Yep. That's what, especially given Okita.
Gallia would have been in full armor for the longest time, and then
it comes out as a fucking like tiny lolly.
Finally, like someone strong enough would have fucking smoked Galliot, and then the helmet would have flown off, and long hair boof out. Galliot's a girl. She's baka.
Yeah, Raw Gamer. Please
night.
Note, I said I can't wait for people fucking who can't read. I specified that people can't read, so Go does explain that Musashi's a man, and that version is not the actual Musashi. The fact that Go tries to explain that seems to not actually help people understand that that's the case.
And the big thing is, like, at the same time, if you explain your weird like thing of changing people to girls, it doesn't actually change
Well,
the fact that you do it a lot.
Yeah, no, that's another thing I do. Fate Go's really good at explaining why everyone in history is a woman that only wears a bra, that are all obsessed with you.
You know, it'd be a
But
lot easier
it being able
not
to, like, them being able to explain it doesn't matter. To me, I'm like, I accept a thing that's fan servicey if I can generally understand the hoops that you had to jump through to get to it. Like Yoko and Gurren Lagann. I'm like, hey, the world is entirely like this. And, like, she's weirdly, like, her personality makes up for it and matches it. But, like, fucking Boudica in Fate Go, I'm like, yeah, I don't believe you're a queen. I don't believe you were ever a queen. You tiny, scantily clad child. Somebody wanted to draw you fan servicey and then fucking found reasons to do it. Because you can find reasons to do anything with a narrative. When you have the ability to rewrite history, legitimately, all you have to do to make anyone a girl in history is just say, history was sexist towards women, and so tried to belittle their play in it. And then you have rationalized that any male historical figure can be a woman. By just claiming that history was written by, you know, with sexist overtones. Doesn't mean you should.
I feel like the original Fate did really well with how they did with Saber. Like, I feel like they did really well, like, explaining, oh, you know, Saber is a girl because of reasons. And, like, I do think that they did okay, but you shouldn't have to jump through that same hook for every character in your roster.
Yeah.
It makes the hooks you jumped through before less cool. Like, no one cares that, like, Saber was anything like that. Like, no one gives a crap at this point, because, like, at this point you also have people like Leonardo da fucking Vinci.
I kind of like that one. Like, I'm vaguely on board with, like...
I like the fact that even Leonardo da Vinci is like, this is fucking weird, but I love it.
Da Vinci, for those that don't know, here, Da Vinci's a main character in it, and was summoned as a woman because basically he insisted upon being summoned as the form of the Mona Lisa.
Also, I summoned Da Vinci first.
Yeah, you certainly did. Yeah, I could say the same thing with Tomoe Gozen and Sir Galahad, but you don't see me doing it.
Hey, man. That just means you need to do it more. I'm kidding.
What was I gonna say? Fate Go, the main thing for me is that the line of reasoning for why characters are interested in you, and everybody has the hots for the main character. Like, apparently everybody in history is bisexual, and I'm not even against that fact. It's just the reasoning for it is silly. But the fact that everyone is summoned with pretenses that were like, though they were once a queen, having been summoned as a servant in the Holy Grail War, they have an opportunity to experience what life would have been like if they'd been a servant. Ergo, they want to bow down to every whim that you have. And that's why they want the D. Like, just every fucking person in history has some semantic bullshit that basically reduces them to, like, and that's why they want you. And I'm like, I don't. And
Can I just be amazing?
It's like, ugh.
Instead of having them be like, I want to lower my expectations, can't I just be amazing?
Yeah. You know what? Let's go back. Can we go back to talking about D&D?
Yeah.
Dude.
But I'm gonna pee first.
Okay.
Have fun.
Let's go back to
D&D's
talking
pretty
about
fun,
D&D.
though. It's a pretty fun game.
Yeah.
Fate Go is my favorite game ever made.
I'm really glad that only the sound design needs to be done on Inuyasha, because your work with it just ended.
That's fair.
So, buddy, how does it feel to be out of a job?
You know,
I'd say worth it, honestly.
probably worth it, yeah. I had to defend the greatest game of all time, obviously.
Fate Go. More like Fate Get Out.
More like Fate, no.
Get out.
Fate Go, more like
Move along.
Fate Go. More like gun. Click, click.
Fate Go, more like Fate, great, oh, time.
Deco will defend Fallout 76,
correct.
but
Deco
won't defend
defended the
Fate
best game when he
Go.
defended Fallout 76.
Fucking, I enjoy that you will defend Fallout 76, but not Go. That there's a certain cosmic fucking poetry to that.
I've already admitted, like, since I've defended 76 and after Smash came out, whenever an actual good game came out, I'm like, I think I was being held hostage by 76.
I see.
Because, like, I haven't played it since Smash came out.
That's good. You shouldn't. It's very bad.
All this said about Go, I'm not saying anyone should like not enjoy it or stop playing it. I'm saying I don't like the fallacy associated with like, oh, you don't like it? Then you just haven't made it to this part.
Yeah.
And I also personally don't like what it does for the franchise, but it's a gacha game that's meant to be enjoyed, and if you enjoy it, I'm not making a case for why you shouldn't.
You just threatened to fire me because I hypothetically
Buddy?
enjoyed Fate Go.
I'll talk to you outside stream, okay?
I thought we were talking about D&D again. What's all this
I can't
business
I can't double fire you, so I can't make you stop now. But I'd really appreciate it if you would just fucking okay?
It's like, buddy, you're fired. Aw, buddy, you want a job? Yeah, buddy, you're fired. Aw.
Would you like a job starting now? Boy, would I! You're fired.
Oh.
But yeah,
What a good boy.
I think a lot of fucking Go is people just played it so long they're convinced themselves that it's good. I like sorcerers. They're my favorite class. Sorcerers are really great. Also, I'm pretty sure it's pronounced
I haven't
Raceland.
played Sorcerer yet. I want to one day.
Do it. They're fun. A lot of people give them shit because they're simple, but like, so what? So are fighters, and Hadrick's fun.
I want to play a wizard one day too.
Sorcery points can
Didn't want to talk about a couch. Yeah, man, couch wizards are the fucking the shit. I showed the power of the couch wizard yesterday in Deus Ex.
I also want to play a barbarian one day, and have another go at a monk one day, and play a druid again one day.
I just want to play all the classes.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm slowly going down the checklist.
Can I
so
follow
can
that
say I played
build
them all.
where like someone was able to do every single class?
You like the new Divine Soul Sorcerer? So do I. That's what Peridot is.
Oh, there's a
feel
new,
like-
Neat.
new thing.
No,
Well,
it's
it's
Xanathar.
it's new relatively. It's not like new. But no, it's just basically a sorcerer that's a bit divine and such. And yeah, that's what class Peridot is. Peridot Titania.
She a cute.
true.
She is a cutie. She's got one of my favorite designs that Vin's done for the game. If that says anything, like he does a lot of fan servicey designs and whatnot, but my favorite one is the person wearing a full body mantle. Her and Sun Archer and Suzume, I think, and Isla. I'm probably biased there, but I really like Isla's design.
Logan, who's your favorite player character? Go.
Player character?
Yeah.
I mean,
I love all my children equally.
Who's your favorite child who gets the big room?
how do we judge favorite? Like based on what? What's my metric?
Based on you.
I mean, I think he's talking like aesthetic preference.
Aesthetically?
No. I'm not talking aesthetic preference. Based on you.
What is that?
Add everything together.
Add everything together?
Yeah.
Well, I like
But
Isla
also say me.
because I like Isla the most because, well, she's hot, just first of all. She's portrayed by someone I really, really like. She's got really good energy. I think that she causes a lot of like dramatic turns in the game that are good. She's got cool weapons. Alchemists are neat. Fucking, it's kind of unfair though because like.
No,
It's like I because part of me is just like I'm just saying my girlfriend's character, but at the same time I'm like, the thing is I really like my girlfriend, and her personality is in the character to a large extent, so I really like the character.
Yeah. That dude, that's totally.
I like Isla for a lot of the reasons I like Carrie.
Now that's just silly.
But
Aaron,
that
who's your favorite player
aside,
character?
favorite
Me.
what? Who'd you ask?
Aaron, favorite player character. Go.
Me.
Do it.
I said me.
Good answer. Safe answer.
I'm my favorite player character. If you're talking about me as a dungeon, fuck y'all.
We all know it's lovable fan favorite, Ashley.
Given her specialization, would Orla have ways to upgrade mechanical servants like Frankenstein's monster? Yes. If she had summoned Frankenstein's monster, she absolutely could have enhanced her.
Dude, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, she did enhance Saber. She made him fucking armor that is a magic generator.
And he got really pissed when I turned it off.
Because it was important to Orla. Because of what it's made out of.
Sucks to suck, die.
Orla would be really upset if anything happened to that thing because she really cared about the materials that were used to make it.
Why? What is it made out of?
It would have been really funny, like, if that was the thing I decided to use my permanent ceiling on.
It's
What was it made out of? Her family and an NPC.
her family and her butler that was her father figure.
It would have been.
I don't know why she made him into an arm. But, you know.
Made out of the same thing that
Who's that?
fucking Isla's sword and Ian's gun.
Ian's gun doesn't have gear free.
Oh, he doesn't have gear for stuff in him?
Ian's gun
sword.
doesn't have anything in it from anyone. It's just named after Gael. But yeah, the gear blade has a the gear blade also technically doesn't have gear free in it. It's got the memory cog that he gave her that contained information that would be relevant to her. It has that in it. But yeah, fucking.
And Stonewalker has Gear Free's fucking cloak.
The family members is because their magic circuits were inside of Gear Free as magic cores, because that's why he existed. And as for why she used Gear Free, because, you know, the parts were around after she had him destroyed.
What a neat girl.
She had to. He knew that is the thing. She's very much a K thing where I'm like, I'll never ask anyone to not hate Orla. But, like, Gear Free knew. Like, he absolutely was like, I have to go if she's going to do what she's going to do. And he supports her. He tried to get the twins out. Like, the night that he knew that Saber was going to be summoned, he entirely knew that he would be killed. But he made no effort to leave. Because his programming hard commanded him to have to be there. And if Orla started acting in a way that jeopardized having that arm on her, his programming from like hundreds of years beforehand would have forced him to try to stop her. But Gear Free as a person wanted her to succeed and be free from it. So he was absolutely willing to be like, yep, she's going to summon something that will kill me. I'm going to let it happen.
The big thing that I see when I look at Orla, though, like as opposed to Kay is, again, like we said earlier, an antagonist, not a villain. I still consider Orla a villain, if not a sympathetic villain.
That's fair.
Just simply because, yeah, she had to do it for herself, but that's what a lot of villains have to do.
No, she's anti-villain. She's doing things, horrible things, but she's doing it because she wants to live.
Everybody in the Grail War is selfish, and I
Yes.
won't pretend that any of them aren't.
Malekith's isn't.
He's not in the Grail War.
Apparently in pretty deep right now. I'm kidding.
He is a victim of the
Jason's
Grail
Grail
War,
War.
I think, but he's not in the Grail War.
Malekith's his best boy. He is the goodest.
Speaking
She could not
strictly of
reprogram
masters,
Gear Free? Fuck no, she couldn't reprogram Gear Free. Fucking Gear Free was made hundreds of years ago, almost a millennium ago, as basically a slave keeper for their family back when they were indentured servants to another mage. It took them 12 generations. I believe that's what it was. I don't have the notes in front of me, but it took them something like 8 to 12 generations to figure out a way to break out of their servitude. And that's only after Gear Free, a person who was built to keep them confined and like enslaved, developed feelings for this family whose lifespans were being cut short and were being forced to work building this mechanical army for another mage. With his help, they eventually broke out, but then his programming forced him to have to stay with them and to continue having to kill them at an early age to put their magic circuits into himself to carry them on, even though the person they worked for was gone. In fact, one of the huge things about it that's never gone into is that one of Orla's defining memories is, Gear Free killing one of her parents. Basically, their life was coming to an end because the arm had decided that it was time and being shut down. So Orla had to go through the process of having one of her parents killed, their magic circuits ripped out, and then Gear Free, though he didn't want to, installed the Titan's arm onto her so that she would become the next head of the family, and she was forced into the work. Her life like, looks great because it's glamorous and she's made a name for herself, but she's done that in spite of what's happened to her. She also decided that she would be the last victim in her family. Again, I'm not saying anyone shouldn't.
Especially
Again,
given her
once
circumstances.
again, it's all said and
no
good.
children.
And then, you know, as a master turns on Ian and Isla, who, you know, barely figured out anything. But again, as a master, she did it. I understand her as a master. As a person, that's kind of dick move.
Yeah, she's ultimately, with no offense meant to Ian and Isla, 2 kids don't mean much to her in the way of ending an entire, like, family line's suffering. Because if she didn't do that, and she was, like, in a position where she had the resources to do it, her kids and her kids' kids and her kids' kids' kids would all suffer the same fate as her, dying young.
Mm.
And
Does she
Gearfree
want
would...
kids or something? Can she just not have kids?
No, she can. It's just if Gearfree was still around, they'd be put into. They'd have the arm.
Whenever
She
she
could
got
kill
into her
them.
early 30s, if she had, whenever she gets into her early 30s, the Titan's hand would start to shut her body down as a way of forcing Gearfree to transplant her magic circuits into himself and her magic crest onto the next of kin so that they could continue their work. Even though they killed the mage that put them into servitude, the mechanisms that he had put in place to make them obedient are still active. Part of that was making sure that no one family member lived long enough that they could become a threat to him. The thing on her arm, that shoulder pad and whatnot, it's a magical artifact called the Titan's Hand that she can't take off. There's no way to remove it, and it's bound into her nervous system, and eventually it'll kill her.
Well, that's fun.
Yep. Her whole wish in the Holy Grail War is to wish for that thing to be removed harmlessly. So she could just not have kids. Oh yeah, that's definitely an option. She could just decide to die young. That's certainly... You know, and not hurt anybody. She should just go away. That's the fair thing to do.
I mean, is it an option? I don't know.
Until, well, to be frank, until the Holy Grail War became an option, until she was approached about it, that's actually what she was going to do. She was just going to let herself be the last member of her family.
Okay.
But then the opportunity to live a longer and normal life appeared. And she refused to let what happened to her parents happen to her.
Mm-hmm.
There's also another character that you guys may find out about and may bump into, who's a mage that she was romantically involved with, who, as soon as she realized that she would, like, not be able to live a proper life, she broke off the relationship. Like, she's doesn't really allow herself to have much in her life, because she's like, I'm going to be dead before I can accomplish much of anything, or do anything, or form any meaningful relationships.
Is it Jack? I bet it's Jack.
It's not
Probably
Jack.
Jack.
It's not.
It's super Jack.
It's not.
Jack, how come you got to be intertwined with all these ladies?
It's a man
Charming
named...
motherfucker.
It's a man named Julian.
Julian is just a couple of letters away from Jack.
It's true.
You
Just
got
add
me.
a couple on and change a couple of them.
You got me.
You
It's
know,
true.
by
It
that
is.
same logic,
If Ian and Isla...
Jack is not far from Aaron as long as he changed some letters.
If Ian and Isla
Yeah, you
win,
have
they
to
use
just
the
add
wish
a
to
few
make sure
letters
everyone
and
else
change
is...
around a few.
So yeah, I'm just gonna say, it's not fucking your name.
Julian.
If
Jack
anybody
Blackwood.
anybody wins the war and they wish for everyone else's wishes to happen, the Grail will fizzle.
Neat.
It's like, what do you wish upon me, the Holy Grail? Can I have a genie?
The thing is, the Grail probably won't even respond to, like, a conscious wish. It will be what you want,
I want a genie.
unless you deeply want what everyone else wants, which is itself a kind of an intellectual desire as opposed to an emotional one. Then it would just not respond to it. And even if you did, it wouldn't have the resources to do that.
What if I was really into genies?
Yeah, what if?
Then you're getting a fruity bottle? I don't know. Ian's got one. Why don't you talk to him?
I want a genie, not an Ifriti. I want Robin Williams.
Maybe Berserker wants to turn back into a dwarf. You'd be shocked what Berserker wants.
Berserker comes out. More meat.
More meat for the meat.
I want all of
meat
the
and
world's gold!
More meat and treasure, please, Grail.
You can turn things into gold, though. I can't accumulate it fast enough, though!
I only have
He just wishes for the
hands.
Midas. He just wishes for the Midas touch.
He's
for
got it,
whatever
though.
reason. I know. He just wishes for a new one.
I wish
For
that
whatever
every-
reason.
I wish
Wishes to
that
turn
everything
the
I
world to gold.
I wish that everything I looked at turned to gold. Just like looking around, just like the entire like Leventina district becomes gold. You just like there's an outshot of like from space this golden dot on the earth and just a very faint. Yeah! Yes!
After like 5 minutes of that, he's like, "Fuck! Now I want more."
Is the mouthwash Discord not different from the Patreon Discord? No, they're not different. There's only they're the same thing. But yeah, it's there are certain things that people act like would break the Grail anytime they talk about it. Not just like not mine, just like any, like just being like, I wish that everyone got their wishes and came back to life and was happy, and I'm very much
Yeah,
in the
so
camp of
someone
like, hey,
suggests-
the Grail has countermeasures to that. No, I won't explain them to you. It's just not going to work that way.
I saw someone ask, like, why not write a list of everyone's wishes and wish that everything on the list was fulfilled or something was another one. I was like, I doubt that would work.
No.
I think it's a nice idea, but my question to them would be, would your character reasonably be willing to risk their wish to hope that this contingent plan might work?
Could you wish for the Grail to be destroyed? I mean, you could try.
I wish there were no more Grail
Yeah.
Wars.
It pays enough attention to know that if someone's not going to play ball, that it'll fucking send other concept. Although I think that partially has to do it twice, but
So,
still.
I'm not saying it's the Fuyuki Grail, but remember... zero spoilers ahead. Remember when Kiritsugu said no? Remember? And do you remember what the Grail did? I won't say what it did, but... Fucking... Holy Grails have countermeasures in place for if people refuse to use them or mean to endanger them. Remember the end of Stay Night, when instead of being like, hey, Holy Grail, destroy yourself, Saber Excalibured it? Not fixing the problem, but getting rid of it for a while. There's a reason.
I remember.
The amount of timelines that Saber has Excalibured the Grail. Like, do you think there's just like... I'd like someone that can, like, show... Like, Zeltrich should meet up with Saber one time, and she'd be like, I seek the Grail. It's all that I require. And he's like, oh, you found it, like, 8 times, actually. You just keep breaking it is the thing. What? Here! Fucking brings up video screens of all the times Saber's found the Grail and broken it. It's like, yeah, you say you want it, but I mean,
breaking.
actions speak louder than words, Saber. But it's corrupt. Yeah, I mean, you're the one that keeps saying you want it. I'm just saying. So fucking could hang out with Shiro forever and be in love and be happy. Oh, Excalibur, there goes the Grail. Oh, Rin's a good master. Could
And
probably
then
hang
she
out with
fucking
her.
has to turn toward the camera, and her hair gets let down, and she smiles. She wakes up at a fucking tree and dies.
Marble hurts. Don't say no. Going back to the comments. Champion wishes for bananas. Champion has the purest wish.
It's true.
The Grail would not try to fuck over Champion. The Grail wouldn't try to fuck over anybody, to be honest, but, like, the Grail would especially be like, Champion wants bananas. Well, I'm gonna give Champion what he wants, then. Of course you can have bananas.
Damn right. Of course you could have
The Leventina district is filled with bananas.
Oh, but, Champion, no, the Grail fucking monkey pod, you gave you 1 banana. And twice it shows up like, no, the Grail actually gave him the ability to produce bananas whenever he wants to. Oh.
All,
effectively
so that's
has
just
it.
at all times.
You just see him like spread his arms, and bananas just start coming out like, woo!
Oh no, Champion! Then it must have given you that ability because you always want bananas, so bananas are gonna flood the earth! Oh no, it regulates them so it's like a reasonable amount, like only as much as he can eat at once shows up. The Grail's really nice to Champion!
I'm sensing some favoritism towards Champion Grail. I'm sensing some favoritism here. Hey, can I have some bananas? Of course, you can have anything you want.
Several bananas pop into existence. Like, an appropriate amount. Yeah. He did
I
it.
love Champion.
Champion figured out the one true wish that the Grail can't corrupt. The banana wish.
Bananas.
The Grail's just like, aha! But my one trick, I've made them taste like a food that no sane person would enjoy. Black licorice! Champion just keeps eating. Ah. A fan of black licorice, I see.
I like black licorice.
Well, I believe I found the perfect existence.
Champion just ascends.
Champion can't wish
You guys
upon the
haven't found
Grail.
out yet, but there is a god of Almirage. Like what Champion is. There's a god for those creatures.
Oh, that's adorable.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
fucking amazing.
the bunny.
Yeah, the bunny
Yeah.
from Tomb.
The unicorn bunny.
I was like, who the fuck is Champion?
The banana-loving bunny unicorn from Tomb.
Yeah, I remember now.
The black
This is
licorice,
why everybody should watch Tomb of
and the black
Annihilation.
licorice banana thing is like actually what the fucking he likes.
My guys, I'll be back. I'll be back later, maybe. But if I don't
I
come
was-
back, I'm sorry.
before you go?
I have something else to do.
What
I was
the-
actually gonna say we're just about to hit 3 hours, and we're sort of spinning out topic wise.
Yeah.
I think that it might be a good time to hang this up.
Yeah.
I knew we weren't doing anything today, so I did tell my grandparents that I would go out and do something real quick.
Yeah.
so.
Just before we stop, if you could hang on just a sec so you could say goodbye.
I
with
can.
us. I'm just gonna real quick play the credits so that everybody that donated
Oh,
and stuff
yeah!
gets to. All right, I'm gonna switch us over to.
Do it.
Hey.
Now.
Okay, that's my background.
now.
I gotta get rid of my background. 1 second. Where is it?
1 second.
Get rid of that. All right, everybody. I'm about to play the credits.
Look at that boy.
With everybody that fucking donated
Look at that
and
mountain
stuff.
boy.
Thank you all very much. I gotta get to the thing on my page here. 1 second. It takes me a moment.
Do
I
it.
wish there was an easy. I wish in Streamlabs stuff that had like a roll button had the button like within the editor as opposed to making me go into my dashboard to do it. How hard would it be to just have like a little button in the event thing? Wouldn't be hard.
Extremely.
To roll credits.
Yeah, because you have
You
to
can
go
do
to the
that.
roll credits widget to do it.
Oh, I see. To activate it there.
Yeah. All right.
'Cause
Here we go.
I'm gonna show you something later. I think I know what you can do there.
I like how Malaclip shows up on the fan art, and then Berserker shows up to fucking just stomp on him.
Oh, did that not go? Why is that not going? Is that
Because
credits? Credits, come on. Roll credits.
do
There
it
they are.
Now.
There they are. Look
You
at
did.
that.
Look at it.
This is something I want to do from now on with all the people that donate and cheer and subscribe and stuff. Oh, we got like a Japanese name in there. Look at that. So thank you to these people for your subscriptions, for your resubs, for your donations, for your cheers, for your follows, for your being moderators.
Heck yeah.
And we will see you guys this coming Thursday for Strahd. And then after that, we'll be back to Fate. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, my dude.
Bye.